radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? Today's Wednesday, September 29th, 2021. Let's do this, man. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of nowhere. A total undisclosed location. But it is beautiful in here. You have no idea. You don't. You've never been here. But it's great. It's great. It's my little humble abode. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right. What a great week on the show. Our road trip week continues tonight. Very special guest, first-time guest, Todd Standing is here. Todd is here to talk about his road trip and search for Bigfoot. We're going to do all of that tonight. Tomorrow night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Yeah, man. And it's also today. Oh, did I? Man, I just messed. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network. I am your host, Jimmy Church. All right, now we can get started. It is National Coffee Day. Happy National Coffee Day. It felt so good. Today I tweeted out and social media and everything, River Moon Coffee. And a funny thing happened on my way to the posting. The internet does a grab. Okay, so when you go and you post something and you've got the website, it's going to grab. You always should have something pre-staged that is ready to go on your website. That is the image and that line and the things that you want it to say. And so I did that today with River Moon Coffee and Facebook. Now, let me just say this. Anything having to do with CBD, you got to be careful. You can't even say that, but I just did, and things like that, you've got to use, and it's just bizarre. So today on Facebook, I popped that out and it said, it went, and instead of the Fade to Black blend, the coffee, which is on the page that I'm sending out, and that is, it instead it just pops up, 100% organic CBD hemp or whatever. I was like, what? And I got hit, man. I got hit by Facebook. I had to pull that thing down, and it was immediate. I was like, oh, my God. And I wanted to call Juanita and Jeff. I was like, man, they got other stuff to worry about. And it didn't do it on Twitter. It was the correct poll on Twitter, but Facebook, man. Oh, geez. So there you go. I could only post up the Amazon store on Facebook. Oh, man. Oh, it was just so funny. We are living in such a 1984 world. Why? Because I react. I was like, I'll let it fly. Should I let it fly? And I'm just sitting there, and then boom, got the notification, like immediate. You know, you have all those Facebook fact checkers that are following your Facebook account. And I used to go and block them all, and now they're difficult to even block. You can't block them. You go to block them, and they won't block. They've got some algorithm tied to their account. Can't block them, and they're stuck there. So maybe they saw the notification. Maybe it wasn't done by automation, but all I know is it was quick, man. It was quick. All right. Where am I at? Let me pull this up. I want to I'm going to do all of the stuff with Starworks USA and Laughlin, starting in a couple of days. The first of the month is coming up. But it is Laughlin, Nevada. It is November 12th through the 14th. This is a live in-person conference. Amazing lineup of speakers. We are going to be doing a couple of things. Jacques Vallée is going to be there. And it is at the Aquarius Casino, which is just an amazing place right there on the river. But we've got Grant Cameron. Jaime Maussan is going to be there. Paul Smith is going to be there. Paul Hynek is going to be there. And Colin Andrews is going to be there. It's a great conference. So, and a couple of things. So we are going to be doing, and this isn't going to be broadcast. This is going to be live on the stage. We're going to be doing a version of Fade to Black live on the stage. It's not going to be what you think, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And so that's going to happen on Friday night. So I will get everything up. You can go to StarWorksUSA.com for tickets and info about the hotel and everything else. A lot of exciting events that are happening. We got a Frank Sinatra impersonator who's really good. That is going to be there too as well. And I think I'm going to interfere with that. I think I'm going to hang out with Frank for a little bit. But that's going down November 12th through the 14th. Coming up now, we are virtually, and we're at the 29th of September. October 1st is Friday. It's like the day after tomorrow, and that's it. Next month is the StarWorks USA conference. Okay, November 12th through the 14th. Go to StarWorksUSA.com, and there you go. All right, let me get to the breaking news. I get the news every day from Renee, and she's the absolute best. And as far as the producer goes, one cannot ask for anything more. She is just wonderful, and I don't thank her enough. But so today, outside of Renee's amazing stuff that's coming in, I catch this crazy story. And this is let me, what? Christina, the show is live right now. Oh, is she? Is that right? Christina, you're the bomb. Always text, though. Christina Gomez. Where am I at? Okay, so this press release pops out today. Now, just let me get through this. Phantom Space, a Tucson, Arizona-based space transportation and rocket manufacturing startup, has reached a deal valued at about $240 million to design, build, and launch a 72 satellite constellation that will carry industrial Internet of Things, the IIoT payloads for wireless network provider Ingenu. Okay, now, but that's not the press release. Well, that's the re-release press release, because when I first saw the press release earlier today, it stated that Ingenu is a subsidiary of John Deere, owned by John Deere. However, it is not. Now, I only found this out after I reviewed it again before the show, and Renee didn't send me this. This was my own thing, and I thought it was interesting that John Deere is going to fire up a 72 satellite constellation. And, I didn't realize that John Deere was in this kind of business of the Internet of Things and satellites and stuff. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And I had a whole thing. And I went to do some follow-up to get some notes on it. And I wanted to be accurate. And then John Deere is missing. I was like, wait a minute. That was the whole reason. And then I go and I look at the link that I emailed myself, because I found this. I wasn't in the bunker. And I read this outside of the bunker, so I wanted to make sure that I had it, and I sent it to myself. I go and I check the link. The link is 72 satellite constellation, the link, John Deere. It's right there in the link, and I'm like, why is this missing? So then I have to go and vet my sources now, and then I found out that John Deere doesn't own Ingenu. And John Deere was removed from the article. And which is why I was reporting this story in the first place. If John Deere wasn't in the story, I wouldn't have put this in the news. Put it in the news because I was going to do a joke about green tractors in space. I had this whole thing plotted out, and they killed it for me. Anyway, back to the news. Dwayne, the dog, the bounty hunter Chapman, today contracted a private search and rescue canine team to search an island called Edgemont Key off of the coast of St. Petersburg, Florida, in his search for Brian Laundrie. A crew of 4 people carrying backpacks watched the video, getting in the boats and their other supplies, left on boats with these 3 canines, beautiful dogs, by the way. Chapman confirmed that he had hired the team for help in looking for Laundrie, a fugitive person of interest in the disappearance and homicide of his fiancée, Gabby Petito. Now, there is speculation, and this is the crazy part. This is the internet. Those internet sleuths, man, they get on the case, and they're going to go find out thousands of people are doing it, and they discovered a few things. Because there's speculation that Laundrie may be hiding off the coast of DeSoto, where he and his parents went on a camping trip between September 6th and September 8th. Remember, today is the 29th. Now, according to the Park Ledger, now on this island, there's a ranger station, and that's about it, right? It's a wildlife refuge. It's 2 miles off the coast. It's right there, okay? Now, you have to sign in and out on this island, and they went camping there. And according to this Park Ledger, shows 3 people, the Laundries, arriving on the island and only 2 people leaving. So this tip comes in to Dog the Bounty Hunter. They go and they check this out and they say, yeah, sure enough, he might be on this island. And if Dog finds him there, that would mean that his parents have known all along where he's hiding, right? Because they said, he went off on a hike. He went that way. Well, it turns out he went that way with them. I'm saying allegedly at this point, but it's about to get very, very interesting. Well, a huge tornado has ripped through Kiel, a city on the Baltic coast of Germany. You don't hear much about tornadoes in Germany until, well, this month. It's crazy. The devastation, 7 people injured. They thought it was a water spout. Turned out to be a tornado. It's like the 2nd or 3rd tornado in Germany recently. And I've never heard of a tornado outside of Kansas. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today, the one, the only, Mark Farner. Mark Farner is 73, lead singer, Grand Funk Railroad. Now I'm going to tell everybody here right now what to do. You can do it after the show tonight, but you've got to watch the video for I'm Your Captain that was filmed at Shea Stadium in 1971. Go peep that out. Go peep that out. That was an amazing band. Les Claypool today is 58. Guitarist Alexander Skolnick today is 53. Testament, and also, of course, the Trans-Siberia Orchestra. Today's dead guy's birthday today is Madeline Kahn. 1942 to 1999, died at the age of 57. Madeline was one of the funniest and most talented people in all of Hollywood. Every scene she was ever in every film, she stole. That's right. Madeline was the best. Starring in films directed by Peter Bogdanovich and Mel Brooks, of course, including What's Up, Doc? Oh, man. Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, History of the World Part 1, and her Academy Award-nominated roles in Paper Moon and Blazing Saddles. Madeline developed ovarian cancer in 1998. She underwent treatment, and she continued to work. However, it spread rapidly, and she died on December 3rd, 1999, at the age of 57. Happy birthday, Madeline. Her best line, Blazing Saddles, I'm so tired. Dozens of men, again and again. I'm so tired. She was the best. Love Madeline Kahn. All right, here we go. On this day in history, remember this like it was yesterday, 1981. Mary Ann Kellerman, a 7th grader, was the first to die after ingesting cyanide-laced Tylenol in Chicago, Illinois. 7 people died over 3 days. The culprit tainting the Tylenol was never found, never caught. But the mass murder led to all of that new tamper-proof medicine containers. On this day in history. Fader fact. President Nixon. Now, this is one of those fader facts, and I get it, and you want to go and vet it, and you want to go and check it out because you just think I made it up. Well, this is one of those you're going to think that Jimmy made it up fader facts right now. President Nixon ordered the Secret Service guarding the White House to have fancy uniforms similar to what palace guards wear in other countries. Buckingham Palace, the Vatican. He wanted that on the Secret Service. Well, the Secret Service got the uniforms, hated them, and sold them to an Iowa marching band. That is your fader fact. You need to check out the uniforms too, man. Secret Service is like, no, ain't happening. Tonight, very special guest Todd Standing is here. We're going to be talking about his real road trip on his search for Bigfoot. We're going to be doing that tonight for Todd Standing. And first-time guest. It is going to be great. Tomorrow night is another fader night with open lines all night long. And, Triscale just popped in. Triscale is sending me a skull for my birthday. That's right. Triscale got the secret address. Ooh. Looking forward to it, Triscale. All right. Let me get to this River Moon coffee. It is Happy Coffee Day. National Coffee Day. 365 days in the year, 365 national holidays. Today, it's National Coffee Day. RiverMoonWellness.com. I got all of the links up in social media. Go and get... That's the picture. Kaz, how did you find that? That is the Secret Service wearing those redunculous uniforms that are now being worn by an Iowa marching band. Man, you guys are good. See, Now, are you convinced that when I throw out a fader fact like that it's not true? It can't be true. This is Fade to Black's version of The Onion. I get that. But there it is, right there. Kaz, you are amazing. Thank you for that. All right. For more than 50 years, the world's top scientists searched for the missing planet Vulcan. You probably don't know about this, but the existence of Vulcan was mandated by Isaac Newton's theories of gravity, and it had the scientific community just in an uproar. Countless hours were spent on the hunt for the elusive planet, and some of the era's most skilled astronomers even claimed to have found it. There was just one problem. It was never there. Or was it? Joseph Leverrier built on Newton's theories and discovered Neptune. That's right. You got to remember, Neptune is fresh. Becoming the most famous scientist in the world, Leverrier attempted to surpass that triumph by predicting the existence of yet another planet in our solar system, Vulcan. Now, he claimed to have seen it, took some pictures, published some papers, and was viewing it through telescopes, and that's it. He found another planet in addition to Neptune. And this rocked the scientific world, and people just came flooding in, including Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein comes in and says, hey, that mystery of the missing planet was a problem not of measurements or math, but of Newton's theory of gravity itself. So Einstein goes back, presents and talks about his general theory of relativity, and he said that it proved that Vulcan did not and could not exist, and that the search for it had merely been a quirk of operating under the wrong set of assumptions about the universe. Remember, Newton's calculations, his numbers, his published ideas and theories on gravity are in use today, right now. All of the things that are orbiting our sun, all of them are based on Newton. And that's a couple of 100 years ago, 300 years ago. But here is the crazy part. I think that most researchers back then were also going on instinct. They were finding out more and more about our Milky Way in the universe. Things were getting bigger and bigger at a very fast clip, and then Neptune shows up, and they knew that there was more stuff out there, and they were right. Yes, today we know all about Nibiru, the rumors of the Sumerian tablets, and Sitchin, the 10th planet, the 9th planet, and today we know more about the ring of objects and planets outside of our solar system, and the recent discoveries of something very large that is pulling its magic gravity tricks on us. So who was right? Einstein? The 50 scientists who were searching for Vulcan? Or is it today's physics and astronomy? You see, Caltech's Mike Brown found evidence of a giant planet tracing a bizarre, highly elongated orbit in the outer solar system. I've talked about it a lot over the years, and this object have nicknamed Planet 9 by Mike Brown and his team. Planet 9 has a mass about 10 times of that of Earth and orbits about 20 times farther from the sun on average than does Neptune, which orbits the sun at a distance of 2.8 billion miles. In fact, it would take this new planet between 10,000 and 20,000 years just to make one full orbit around the sun. So I'm going to ask again, who was right? What would Einstein say today about this? What would he say? What could he say? The book is called The Hunt for Vulcan, and how Albert Einstein destroyed a planet, discovered relativity, and deciphered the universe. It is written by Thomas Levinson. It's a great book. I've now plowed through it 3 times, and it is a fascinating read. And the way that Thomas presents this, now as a historical document, it's fascinating. And the rush that all of these scientists were having at the time because things were being discovered. We can't forget about Edwin Hubble and his dust up with Einstein, and he proved Einstein wrong, right? Okay, so you go and you read this, and then you think about it in context of what is going on today, specifically like Mike Brown. And then you throw in the Sumerian tablets and Sitchin and others, and you know, this 10,000-year orbit and what Sitchin has theorized from the Sumerian tablets and Nibiru on a 3,700-year orbit, and how fantastical that sounded back then. That's where we are today. It is a fascinating book. I would suggest that all of you read it, and it goes to show you that I spend way too much time on science and physics, way too much time for somebody that doesn't understand a thing. I know nothing. And this is Fade to Black, and that's what this show is about. I'm trying to figure this stuff out, man. I'm trying to figure it out, and it's fascinating. Watching these physicists and these astronomers go toe-to-toe and fight with each other, and then as time goes along, you find out, you know, and ultimately with all of this, I got to get to a commercial break. I got to get Todd Standing in here. But you find out with all of this that Newton, 300 years ago, without technology, got it really right. Think about that. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Todd Standing is here. It's night number 3 of our road trip week right here on Fade to Black tonight. Todd is here to discuss his research, legal actions, discoveries, and proving the existence of the Bigfoot Sasquatch myth. That's tonight's show. Tomorrow night is Fader Night with open lines all night long. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2B Blend for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
Fadernauts, when you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Todd Standing joins us for the first time. We're going to do a full night of Bigfoot this evening. We're going to cover it all. His research, his legal actions, discoveries, and absolutely trying to prove the existence of Bigfoot and Sasquatch. Todd is a Canadian filmmaker, researcher. In 2006, he started to explore the woods of British Columbia looking for proof of the existence of Bigfoot. And that same year, he used 2 videos that allegedly contained evidence of Bigfoot to petition the Canadian government to grant species protection to the creature. The Canadian House of Commons turned around and certified that petition. 2017, a movie that I've watched many times. He directed Discovering Bigfoot, and that was released on Netflix. His websites and his YouTube channel are right there over on our website and throughout social media, his YouTube channel, and, of course, his website, discoveringbigfoot.org. I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black, Todd Standing. Todd, good evening, young man. How you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Now, Todd, this is the first time you've been on the show. It won't be the last time, but that means tonight you get the first-time guest disclaimer. Are you ready?
Always ready.
Yeah, here it is. Todd, it's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends, and where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends. But we're going to end as friends. There you go. All right, stress over. Stress over. Oh, man. With you, Todd, I've been following you for a very long time. And I've got so much on my mind and so many things I wanted to ask, which probably won't get asked tonight. I'll forget all of that. But I've wanted you on the show for quite a while. So it's indeed an honor and a pleasure to finally have you here. But watching your presentations, and I stay on top of your YouTube channel as well. And I've watched your transition into grown up, by the way. And yeah, that was pretty cool. Anyway, I actually want to back up. And this sounds like a generic question, but it's actually an honest one. In the Northwest, certainly BC, Canada, Washington, Oregon, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, right? In the Northwest, Bigfoot is probably the subject of conversation more than anything else, more than food, cars, UFOs, politics. It's a Bigfoot world in that part of the country. Were you part of that world growing up? Did you have an interest in Bigfoot?
No, not at all. I grew up tracking a little bit, hunting with my father, but no, I thought it was interesting. But if you'd asked me, I would have said, I wasn't even a believer. So, and yeah, I would have never thought, I always, when I saw a Sasquatch video, I would have thought just, man in a suit, but I definitely did not. It's funny. You'd think in Canada, in the big cities in Canada, which is where the majority of our populations are, most people don't believe, and most people are very domesticated. And I grew up, very, very civilized, and living in the city, only hunting on the weekends when you go out into the wilderness. But it's much more accepted in those, even into Colorado and down into New Mexico and Texas. I'll even push it a little further. And then the southern United States, man, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, they've all got, it's extremely likely they have Sasquatch there. So, I'll expand your into a little bit further into different places, right? And then, Ontario, and you get, even I was in the Adirondacks, and we had an interaction with the Sasquatch. I'm 100%. I know there's Sasquatch in the Adirondack Mountains of New York State. So it's really, they're in so many places. And I find when you're in those rural areas, people are very much believers, and in a lot of cases, knowers. So it's, I wouldn't, when I talk to Discovery Channel and Netflix and Warner Brothers, all these big names that are always talking to me, there are real stats where in the United States, your population is over 300 million. A good 1 in 3 people believe Bigfoot is either real or very probably real. So you're talking over 100 million people in the United States are solidly convinced that the species exists. And that's enormous. The U.S. is the number one country in the world, absolutely, for the knowing and believing in Sasquatch. And I think there's a good reason for that, because there is a lot of hunting and backcountry woodsmanship that's been going on as a history. Even people in cultures in the U.S., and I do say cultures, there's the white culture, the English culture, the French culture, whatever you want to call it, that have been there for, hundreds of years now. And even though they've grown out of it, they still have a history of it in the past with their families. And it's, and when you say great grandpa knew it, and people, love their families, cherish their families, great grandpa was an honest, good man, like my dad's an honest, good man. And he says they're real, and they're real. And I love that kind of tradition and acceptance of the species. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you know how it is. And when I talk about the Pacific Northwest, once you get north of San Francisco, and that corner of the United States, you've spent a lot of time there. You live in BC, but I've spent a lot of time there too, especially recently. And you know how it is. You pull into a gas station to get gas, and you walk in to pay for your gas, and there is a rack of Bigfoot T-shirts for sale at every gas station, right? I mean, the Bigfoot stores, the souvenir shops. It is a culture, and it's a pretty fascinating thing to see, and that's what I'm referring to. And you know what I'm talking about, because that's you spend a lot of time in this part of the world, and you see it too.
Yeah.
Todd is adjusting his camera as he's looking at me. You look fine, Todd. You look great.
Oh no, I'm not worried about my camera right now.
Okay.
I found, especially there are places like I was in Nia Bay, and a place like that. I was down there with some amazing people that got me down into that area, and I'll tell you, I went into the local grocery store, and half of the section of books was all about Bigfoot.
Yes.
And yes. I was just, it was, and I thought, well, that's awfully kind of weird. That's a lot of Bigfoot stuff going on. And then you start talking to people, and oh, we saw a Sasquatch over here, they saw a Sasquatch down here, and it's really embedded in the culture. And then, you know, Sasquatch carvings, and it was so wonderful to go to places like that. And then native reserves here in Canada I go to, where I'll tell you, the native people, they treat like, did you see, oh, we saw a bear, we saw a deer, I saw a Bigfoot over there. And they have an actual reaction that they're trained to do, where if a bear comes around, you do this. When a Sasquatch comes around, you do this, and you react in this way. And Sasquatch is as real to them as bears and moose. I mean, it's a real species. They all know it exists. They completely accept it. It's in the history of their culture. And I spend so much time there that I'm very much used to it. Even expeditioners that I take out, you know, they're all strong believers in it. And then, you know, they come out and see a Sasquatch or interact or see the evidence that I have, and they switch over to knowers in a big hurry. But that's what the whole point of the movie, discovering Bigfoot, and everything that me and my colleagues do is, even like Jeff Meldrum and as far away as Survivor Man, Les Stroud, we all are about the discovery. We want this discovery to move forward. And that's why my movie's discovering Bigfoot, because this is the discovery process that we're fighting for, and we're very passionate about it.
Now, I wanted to mention this, not to continue to kick this can, but I'm up in Northern California, and they've got, when you go through the redwoods up there, they've got a couple of trees that you can drive through, right? They got a tunnel dug out, right? And you're able to drive through the tree. So I drive through the tree, I'm taking pictures, and then I pull over to the gift shop, and I walk into the gift shop there. This is a national park, and I go into the gift shop, and I was looking for a T-shirt of the tunnel in the tree. I don't know, you know, I'm being a tourist. It's this big. The gift shop, which is big, is a Bigfoot gift shop. Right? I was like, where's the tree T-shirts, right? And I was fascinated with that, and it's full of people buying Bigfoot stuff. And so anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Your first encounter where the paradigm shift starts, when and where did that happen?
In northern Montana, in the Sylvanic region is the name of the area. I was guided out by two Bigfoot knowers. They knew that Sasquatch was there. They had a plan of action, and I was kind of definitely the skeptic. Non-skeptic. I knew Sasquatch couldn't exist, and I couldn't believe these guys had such an intricate plan all planned out. And that's when I filmed video 2 and 3. These two brilliant men, one a Canadian and one from Great Falls, Montana, and they, you know, I was the camera guy. I filmed Sasquatch standing up and squatting back down. Is video 2 that's on YouTube. It's pretty famous. And then video 3 is the Sasquatch running up a hill faster than the fastest man in the world could run up. And the backstory, I mean, that's a movie. Just those 4 days. That's a movie right there, where I could there was so many things that happened. I mean, after I first saw the Sasquatch stand up and sit down, and I filmed it, and I went up there, and I realized how big it was, and I saw the musculature of it, and I was like, this can't, like, that's when the paradigm shift really started, was it just can't be a man in a suit. It can't be, that was a real living thing. And what that Sasquatch had to do to evade me, how it had to move over and jump off a cliff and cross, like no being, no animal could do that. A bear couldn't get away like that. We're talking like climbed on a ledge like a bear couldn't do, a mountain lion couldn't do, a mountain goat couldn't do. Animal that exists, there's no species, there's no warm-blooded, cold-blooded anything that could do that without wings. So and what's probably amazing about that is that's what started me down the road. Before I was, how could this possibly be? How could Sasquatch possibly exist and we don't know about it? And now I'm on the side of no wonder we can't discover them. No wonder it's been so hard, because every acknowledgement, every discovery I make about this species is they're so amazing, they're so fast, they're so gifted, they're so spiritual, they're so intelligent, they're just so absolutely that they evade us with ease. They're immensely intelligent, they're spiritually connected to the land, they have empathic abilities. Like, I've learned so much about them that it's really to the point where my skills, I mean, working with Survivor Man and PhDs and native elders and the best trackers in the world, my skill level is high. And I couldn't even come close
to versing this species. It would be a disaster. You don't verse them. They're putting myself versus them in the wilderness would literally be like putting a little kid in the ring against Mike Tyson. You get smashed. They own it. They know the land, and the things that they're capable of doing that I've witnessed, that I just even know about based on deductive reasoning. It blows my mind what they're capable of doing, how they survive. It's absolutely astonishing. Every day, every discovery I make, they blow my mind.
Do you feel that if you capture Bigfoot on video, or you see one and you have an extreme close encounter, that is something that is being allowed? You're not forcing the issue. Bigfoot is allowing that to happen. I mean, it appears that they're always out in front, right, away.
Right.
And are able to stay away.
It's about time. After all the interviews I've done hundreds of interviews, been on CNN, New York Times, BBC. No one has ever finally asked me that question, and that is the absolute truth. Every time I have an encounter, every time there's a video, I don't verse them. I can't win. They're allowing that stuff to happen. Mm-hmm. When I meet somebody, and I believe they have authentically seen a Sasquatch, the first thing I'll say to them, and this shocks them, is congratulations. And they go, what do you mean congratulations? I go, there was something special about you that the Sasquatch saw in you that allowed him to show himself to you. When I hear about somebody, I was walking in the bush and walking down a trail, and boom, a Sasquatch was there, and I shocked him and he ran off. I've never found one single time where that sighting seemed authentic to me. Just because they hear the squirrels, the birds, the deer, everything moving, the elk, they're so far ahead of you. They know where the wind gauge is. They know the terrain. They heard you when you got out of your truck and slammed the door, and it echoed for 2 miles.
Right.
They knew.
Right.
It's really, like, I don't like to use that word impossible, but we're in the realm of impossibility to sneak up and take it. I did a couple times, but it was a matter of like heavy snowstorm.
Okay, Todd.
Lead line. There was so many things that I did.
Todd, let me jump in. You're dropping out, not all the time, but like right now, everything was skipping. So I'm going to ask you to orientate yourself. Yeah. Now I want you to go back and repeat what you just said.
What I found very authentic is when people tell me a story that they've seen a Sasquatch, it's always the Sasquatch that have shown themselves to that person. And whenever I see an authentic sighting or hear about a sighting that I feel is authentic, I always tell the person, congratulations, because there's something special about you that made the Sasquatch show themselves to you. And when I interview these people, it'll be some trapper who loves nature and is caring and does all this good stuff for the wilderness, or some lady who's planting and picking berries, and she's got this beautiful, butterflies land on her. She's some wonderful, gentle lady. So I can really see that. And then in the inauthentic encounters where people allege they've just walked up or they snuck up on a Sasquatch, the person seems like he's just BSing. And I would honestly account for 99% of the time when someone has a sighting, mm-hmm. the Sasquatch did it purposely, even the old Patterson footage.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. Okay, so a nice segue there, Todd, because that's where I was going next. Do you feel that, I want to talk about the Patterson film specifically, and I know you've talked about it 1,000 times, but we'll handle it differently tonight, I assure you. Do you feel that those videos 2 and 3, do you realize now how lucky you were to get those?
Yeah, I don't like that term luck, but it is. Yeah, I look back at them. Every video, I have 8 videos now that are public, and every single one of them is because I haven't filmed a Sasquatch in 3 years, 2 years, and it blows my mind. It is outstanding, amazing, but I've really dedicated my life, like Patterson and Gimlin, who filmed that Sasquatch footage. Excuse me. There was a little bit of luck and timing and everything that came into it, but everything I do is planned and organized. And even if we plan to get a shot over here and it comes up something totally different, it was still something we worked really hard for. And every little detail is planned and weighed and measured and timed. So, that's all my footage has been like that. Years and years. Every time I get three pieces of blurry footage I wouldn't even insult the public of showing, and there's a dozen times that I completely and utterly failed. So nobody appreciates footage like I do. I've been doing this well over a decade now. I'm probably even getting a little bit of gray. I'm thinking maybe is it 2 decades, but it's over 15 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And expeditioners that come out and see a Sasquatch or have that success and then look at my videos again and go, man, that was like, what an incredible turn of events to get that footage. And I'm so immensely grateful for that. And I'm very happy to give that footage back to the public and show that this is about this discovery process, which is so important, so immensely important.
Yeah, the one piece of footage of yours with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, scaling that, I don't know how to explain it, but the side of the hill. Let's just go with that. It's more like a mountain.
Yeah.
I thought that's it's like Batman, right? I watched it over and over again, and I thought, man, he's got to be going like 30 miles an hour uphill. Yeah. And that's a crazy piece of footage. And I always compared that to the Patterson Gimlin film. And I have said many times, if the UFO community had a piece of footage that was equal to what the Patterson Gimlin film represents, then it would be case closed, right, for the UFO community. That would be it. All the questions are answered. But yet, I've always been on the fence about Bigfoot, with the Patterson Gimlin film staring me in the face that I think is authentic. When you look at the Patterson Gimlin film with what you know now, it is especially stabilized. It's so clear and represents so many things. There's so much data in that film, right? There's so much there. Is that a representation of what you have been tracking and following?
Absolutely. In fact, I'll tell you, I haven't talked about this public before, I don't think, but on an expedition, I literally, so we had a female that came down and took apples from us. We saw apples getting taken in the movie Discovering Bigfoot with Jeff Meldrum. It was that same structure. Apples were taken and a bite was taken out of one of the apples and it was put on a log. So I started following that trackway of, it was a female Sasquatch. And I walked up to the ridge and there it was. I actually stopped and rubbed my eyes. I've never done this before because I felt like I was looking at the Patterson footage. A female walked in the same way the Patterson walked. The only difference was she was going, she was making sounds because she was upset that I was following her trackway. So she walked the Patterson walk, turned around, and then walked in the opposite direction a little further away and walked a third time. And I was there with my expeditioner going, I just saw the Patterson female Sasquatch pulled right out of 1967 from California and dropped here in northern Alberta, Canada. The identical female, same height, same breasts, same color, everything. It was identical. I couldn't believe it. So, it's the same. It's the same. It's for me, the levels of authenticity of that footage. What really ended it for me was they have tracks that they cast of that Sasquatch, that female, and it's a female. I've seen the tracks from Jeff Meldrum. I would identify that as a female. She's the right weight. Everything is perfect. And the deal breaker is she has a mid-tarsal joint. So a mid-tarsal joint was not known to exist in the anatomy of anything on Earth until about 1980. They discovered it with chimpanzees. So how did two cowboys in 1967 who know nothing about the anatomy of anything know that they had a mid-tarsal joint? And the answer is they didn't. Nobody knew. It's impossible for them to have mid-tarsal joint tracks that are perfectly authentic, in line. Everything is perfect. They didn't even know that Sasquatch moved in a line. It's quite common knowledge now that their legs move that way because of their hip joints. But it's really like that. If that doesn't cap it for you, then you need to not take long walks for fear of falling off the earth because you're a flat earther.
Right.
That footage is authentic. Have a good day.
Now, this is, do you know why I think the Patterson Gimlin film is authentic? It's not the science. It's not the anatomy. It's not the boobs. It's not the muscles. It's not the gait. None of that. It's 2001 and Planet of the Apes. Right? That's right there. Yeah. That's what convinces me. Because when you look at what they tried to do with Planet of the Apes, they wanted the most convincing, and the struggles they went through to get those costumes made up, which were completely bogus. But, it's the movies and we accepted it. But that was the best that Hollywood could do. Stanley Kubrick, the most perfectionist director in the history of cinema, couldn't get it right. And he tried. And that was the best of everything. But then you swing over and a couple of cowboys, did that. Right? And that's where I'm at. And I don't need any more convincing than that type of evidence, Todd. And I stand by that statement.
And you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree with you more. The comparison to the chimpanzees and gorillas and orangutans from Planet of the Apes, which the amount of money they spent on those main characters and all the work they put into it, it's just and there's another thing that's really a deal breaker is she's walking, not running, because she's got a blown quadriceps. And Jeff Meldrum, who is a university professor, had one of his colleagues see that and go, that's exactly, so when she puts weight on it, it bulges, and when she takes the weight off, the bulge goes away. That's exactly how the anatomy of a blown quadriceps. This guy's a surgeon. He does it for a living because that's how you identify it. So the muscles in the legs are perfect according to a surgeon who does this for a living. The anatomy is perfect, and the physical movement and the way the bulge is coming out is perfect. They couldn't do that. They could do that today for $2 million. Sure, yeah, they could do it for millions of dollars. And why? So it's just the level of how amazing that piece of the film is. The more you analyze it, the more you look at it, it's absolutely astonishing. And I've been deeply involved, even interviewed Bob Gimlin and asked him questions that no one's ever asked before, because there's another level of success that my people and I are garnering. And he hit everything. Like he's legitimately seen it. The backstory, you could make a movie about what Bob Gimlin went through and what he lost, because he never ever lied about that film. He always said it's authentic, it's real. He lost businesses, he lost dreams, he lost marriages, friendships, and he just said, my dad, like Bob Gimlin is a hero. He said, my dad taught me to tell the truth, and I will always tell the truth. And that's just the way I am. And there are so few, like that is just, I can't say it enough. He's an absolute wonderful hero of mine, tough old cowboy. And man, if we had more people like that in the world, it would just be a beautiful place. And the Sasquatch community, or anybody who's involved in this discovery, should be immensely thankful that that man was there for that piece of footage, and that Jeff Meldrum and John Bitternagel, these PhDs, have fought. And John his whole life, and Jeff even to this day just works so hard. They're so dedicated to this discovery, and we're so incredibly fortunate to have these. I know these men, especially like Jeff Meldrum and John Bitternagel. I've bled with these men, and I've tested their metal. They are just the most amazing, honest, good salt of the earth. Like I understand what the term gentleman is now after meeting these great men, and it's a shame that our society is. It's a shame I'm not more like them. There's not more people like them. That's how I feel about them.
We need to take our break right here. This is Fade to Black tonight. Todd Standing joins us for the first time. That's right. It's all Bigfoot all night long right here on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Todd after this short break. Stay with us on the Game Changer Network and KJCR. Be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv, Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30daysfree on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network. KGRADB.com.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B blend for 15% off of your order today.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright-Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Todd Standing. It's all Bigfoot all night long tonight on the show. And his websites, his YouTube channel is right there in social media. It's been posted up in the chat rooms as well. And, of course, the website is discoveringbigfoot.org. Again, the links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. And now, Todd, I want to jump into a couple of other things really quick. There seems to, this is me speaking, okay? There seems to be, for me, a connection to UFOs and Bigfoot, but hear me out. It may not be what you think, but you have sightings, and then something in the sky, and then Bigfoot is showing up on the ground, or vice versa. Is that a connection? Could be, but for me, it's more about when you see a set of prints appear, but you don't see the prints before and after. And Bigfoot seems to come and go, appearing and disappearing. So now I'm left with, is there something interdimensional going on? Is there something where a species is appearing in front of us at a different vibration, and now we can see them, and then they're phasing back out? Is it something that crazy, or could we be talking about multiple species of Bigfoot? One that is biological, real, and undiscovered species that is here living among us, and we still have yet to make that discovery, which is totally possible. Or and at the same time, there's something more interdimensional going on, and that we're talking about two distinct species. Am I far off the mark here in going in this direction?
Absolutely, yes. This is a biological, living, breathing species. No interdimensional travel, no connection to UFOs. I've never seen any evidence in any way that supports any of that. So I am literally like a child of John Benernigel, PhD, Jeff Meldrum, PhD professor, Survivorman Les Stroud, and my Cree Nations teacher, all of which every single one of these men will absolutely no interdimensional travel. This is a biological living being, and no connection to anything else in any way, shape, or form. No connection to Bigfoot and aliens any more than humans get abducted. Maybe Sasquatch get abducted. I see cows that have been cut up. I know UFOs are real. I have no doubt about it. I've seen the evidence several times.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen stuff in the sky. I've seen cows lasered up on native reserves. They called me about Bigfoot thinking it's related. It's not. It's UFOs. The evidence is outstanding. It's absolutely real. I accept the reality of UFOs, but absolutely nothing in any way, shape, or form. Zero. Nothing. There's no connection. There's nothing. It's John and Jeff and all those great men that I mentioned. We all need to bring this discovery to mainstream. We all want mainstream science to get involved and help us, because there's a lot mainstream science can do, and it's amazing and impressive. We want that help. If we take this paranormal subject and make it more paranormal and add things to it that are literally either preposterous or just far, far out there, we're going to lose our mainstream discovery process, which is what we're all very, very much against.
Yeah, and
biological. The only thing I've ever. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but this is, and I'm interrupting you, Todd, and I apologize for that. But sure, it's this. I personally, I personally was present at the discovery of 4 Bigfoot prints in Washington. Videotaped it. It's part of a documentary. I photographed it. I was there. It was found by some kids. 4 prints in the middle of this field. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, overweight, and could not make a dent in the ground. But Todd, I'm looking at these prints that are, 2 inches deep, and I'm confused. And they're big, right? They're 18, 20 inches long. And I'm looking at these prints, but there were 4, and they went into an arch, left, right, and turned. But the confusing thing to me was, and we cleared the area, there were no prints before it, nothing, no indents in the grass, there's nothing there. And this first print just shows up like dude dropped out of the sky. I can't explain it. And then it curves off and they end. They didn't continue out of the field. So I'm left with going, well, what happened? Did Bigfoot just appear here? Whatever made these prints was huge, was big, and could put a dent into the ground. They were fresh, the grass and how it was put in. And I don't have another way to look at it other than he dropped out of the sky. And that's a crazy thought, but there was nothing before and after. How do we explain that part of it?
Very easily. First of all, these are the best trackers that have ever lived. And on a scale, you need to understand that these best trackers that have ever lived compete against each other in play. So they're at a level that's so extreme. And I'll tell you, a Sasquatch can walk on that ground softly. I can give you 50 different reasons, but the most obvious, as Sherlock Holmes in the story would say, is he was just stomping his feet. It's called the boom. Sasquatch don't call themselves Sasquatch or Bigfoot. They call themselves boom. So when they come and meet me, they'll make a sound that indicates me, and the sound that indicates them is boom. And what happened with your tracks is he just boomed 4 times. So some people hear boom, 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 boom. That's just what you heard. He took that big, powerful weight, those big, powerful legs, and he slammed his feet into the ground. But I'll tell you, when they want to be quiet, I've heard mountain lions. The only other species I've ever heard as silent as a Sasquatch can be is a mountain lion. I've seen mountain lions run through the wilderness and make no sound, and I've seen a Sasquatch do the same thing. And I'm talking 700-800-pound Sasquatch, not the big male. He always moves loud. But the younger Sasquatch, when they come around me, they can even listen to what happened in Survivor Man's episode with me. We heard a Sasquatch run past us so fast that we heard a whipping sound like a truck going by. But we didn't hear boom, 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 boom. There was no footprints left because he was walking gently. They could float when they want to nearly, but it's just the way they've been trained to move.
Right.
So all you simply saw was a Sasquatch. What happened was almost guaranteed is he saw people around. He wanted you to hear him. So he went boom, 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 and walked off. You saw 4 footprints that were hammered into the ground, and you said yourself you couldn't make them. I guarantee you, when he walks gently, you don't see no tracks. And that's just one potential. I've actually seen them. I'll better up on you than that. I was tracing them in a snowmobile, and the buggers walked right into the middle of a field, and the trackway ended. And someone would say, oh, they interdimensionally traveled. No, you know what he did? He walked backwards into his tracks, jumped onto a tree, and then jumped from tree to tree, and took off. You're being out-tracked by a better tracker. The moment you think I have the edge on them, they're 3 steps. They're so you think you're ahead. That's the only, you know what I mean? Like, they are amazing. They wanted you to see those tracks. They let you see those tracks. It's all purposeful. It's all being done. The best tracker in the world. He'll climb on logs. He'll bump on trees. He'll jump from tree to tree in the air. The things these guys are capable of will blow your mind. They're chimpanzees combined with, there's nothing like them on Earth. They're so amazing, agile, the stuff. I know a big Sasquatch can jump 15 feet from tree to tree. So even that might have been a possibility, is he jumped out of one tree, left 3 steps, jumped to another tree, to jump to another tree, and it evaded you. There's so many things these guys can do. It'll blow they'll take a log and walk on it and throw the log away. Like, I can't, you're dealing with the most intelligent, brilliant, amazing being. That's why when I go out there, as high a level as a tracker I am, all I do is go out there hubris and say, teacher, teach me. That's what Sasquatch means. It means wild teacher. And that's what the natives, the greatest trackers that have ever lived on this continent, called the Sasquatch. Teacher, boss, Oma, right? All these terms of reverence, because they knew they couldn't compete with these guys in the wilderness. That's how amazing the Sasquatch are. So really, really simple explanations. It's very likely what transpired with you. And I've never heard of or seen a position where they don't interdimensionally travel. They out-track you. They're that good. They're that smart. There's so many levels ahead of you. I don't even try to compete with them anymore. If there's a trackway, I just look at it and go, cool. And I acknowledge, I do a thing where I put an X over the trackway to put 2 branches over it, telling the Sasquatch, I see your trackway. I'm a tracker, but I'm not going to follow you, just so they are confident enough to know that I'm not going to ever try to verse them, because they are my teachers and I'm humble. And that's why I'm getting success where other people are failing. Because you go try to verse them, it's just funny to me. I don't even worry. Go try to shoot one.
Yeah, that was my. I like you have ESP, my friend. That was my next question. How much do they understand humans? Like guns, and hunters. Do they know what a gun is? Do they know what humans are doing with those?
Oh, absolutely. They've seen people hunt 100 times. You're dealing people just can't imagine, like baboons. I train with South African snipers as well as American snipers, and they'll tell you how a baboon will tell the difference between a play gun or a real gun. You put a real gun in your truck, and the baboons will run away. And the next day, you leave that gun in your truck, and you just go to your truck, and the baboons take off. Like baboons are highly intelligent. They don't want to get shot, man.
Mm-hmm.
They know the difference. They know how close they can get to you when you have a handgun. And how far away they need to be if you have a rifle. This is a baboon.
Mm-hmm.
Sasquatch live in the wilderness. That's the main people they interact with. They know hunters and guns. And I'll tell you something. Let's just do this, just so people can really understand intent and empathic ability. If you go up, a cow is a domesticated, stupid animal. It has virtually no wilderness skills left in it. If I walk up to a cow, they're cool. If I sneak up on the ground to a cow and I start like acting predatorial, they'll lose their mind. That's a cow. You get out of your vehicle with a gun and you have intent to hunt, they can feel it, they can sense it, they can see in your walk, they can feel it in your energy. If a cow can do it, trust me, the most advanced wilderness being that's ever lived, and that's what a Sasquatch is.
Mm-hmm.
They know. As much as we're masters of civilization, they're absolute apex species masters of the wilderness. And you got to get that through your head, because if they exist, and if you're the biggest skeptic in the world, if they do exist, they're that good. Otherwise, I would have discovered them. And I can tell you, there's 1,000 other people out there that have failed in their lifetime to make this discovery, because these great men and women are being outdone by a superior wilderness intelligent species, period.
Do they speak? Do they have a language?
Only, I've never heard it, but at this point, I've heard a woman who saw, so there's a Sasquatch in my movie, Video 8, I called it. Now his name's Kubota. A woman who was allegedly abducted by Kubota. The reason she knows his name is the main group, the main Sasquatch of the group came up and stopped that abduction from transpiring. He called him Kubota, and he said, Kubota, Iha, Ina. And Iha is Northern Cree for down. So he said, Kubota, put Ina down. So that's and I believe in my heart, absolutely, that this really happened to her. Her and her boyfriend really heard these words. And so that's the only one accounting I've had in my whole life where I believe they've spoken in a language. And I believe they do it as a very last resort thing when they're like, they're pissed. And like he was telling Kubota, you put her down. We're not taking her into the wilderness. And because I believe they communicate through ESP and extrasensory perception. I believe they have that ability. But
that's the third time you've done this. That's the third time you've done this tonight. That's my next question. You know what? I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to let you conduct this interview.
My ESP.
Yeah,
they teach me.
You're good, man. Have you brought psychics in and people with those abilities to communicate with Bigfoot?
Animal communicators are the best. Anna Bachman and people like her.
Right.
Even that's why I went to Nia Bay. But what animal communicators are learning and giving me back as information is you're not just dealing with a bear, which are amazing animals, intelligent. You're dealing with a species that's literally at a higher level of spirituality. It's hard for us. It's hard for them to communicate with us because they're literally precisely the opposite of us in almost every way. Anatomically, they're our closest living relative. They may actually simply just be a subspecies or probably even the same species as us, a variant species. So they're our closest living relative, but that's it. Wilderness and civilization are the opposite. I like to walk on trails like people do. They hate trails. They like to walk in the bush, and it's everything. When I'm quick and I need to be on time and I'm in a big rush, they're completely relaxed, completely calm. They'll take a week. They'll take years to get to know me, whereas I want to know them in a day. I want, hey, come out today and take an apple. Do it now. Mm-hmm. They'll go, try 8 years from now, buddy. Like patience, like you can't imagine. Calm, serenity, and just so the opposite of us in every single way. And that's what makes animal communication so extremely difficult, because I had pain last year. Even the last couple of years, I had a serious traumatic incident that happened, and they stayed away from me because they don't understand. They go, just go fix the incident. And they don't understand us crazy people. Even let me explain this to you. They know I know they're real. I've seen them. They expect me to go tell all people they're real. And I can't explain to them, no, people lie to each other so much that we don't believe each other, and they don't understand that. They go, just go tell everybody, and they'll believe you. And they go, and you understand why that I can't communicate that to them? We lie, we cheat, we deceive, we're backstabbing to each other. We've always been doing that. And what that teaches them is there's a sickness in us that we better stay away from them, because if your people don't believe you, you're part of those people, you're a product of those people, and you're not trustworthy, and they're that smart. They're right. They're totally right. If you understand what I'm saying.
I do. I wanted to ask you about staying on all of this, where the markings and the things that are photographed, I've seen enough of it myself, the giant X's and the things that we see out in the forest, that this is Bigfoot, marking their territory. This is the way that they communicate. It's not necessarily for humans. It is for them. This type of evidence, and I want to talk about nesting too as well. Are these giant X's that seem to be abnormal and not natural that are found out in the woods? Is this Bigfoot marking their territory? And is this the territory that they live in? Is this part of their habitat?
And these are all good working theories that we have. I don't have, it's a hypothesis. The most profound piece of evidence I have is tree breaks. But if you watch my documentary, tree breaks are, I teach people about how there's a pressure break. It's not a fulcrum break is where you use leverage to break it and the tree shatters. A pressure break is where they take 2 points, their hand maybe 3 inches apart, and they snap a tree under pressure. They're trying to show you how powerful they are. You can't do that with the strongest man in the world couldn't do that with a 3-inch tree. I've proved it dozens and dozens of times. I've had engineers come out, physicists look at it. The power is it's literally twice as strong as a gorilla. And it should impress you. So those pressure tree breaks that are pointed in a certain direction, they're broken at a certain height. Those are very, very significant evidence, and they're really telling a story. And the only thing I can deduce on it right now, minusculely, is when you see them pointed at a trail, they're saying the trail is okay, stay on that trail, but don't come off of it. So they're saying this is yours, but they're also telling you Sasquatch are in the area, so stay on your own damn trail. Don't go over here. And why don't they want you to not go over there? You don't really belong there. That's American law. Wilderness is an area where people can visit for a short time, but we don't belong there. That's actually in law, right? So, and they do belong there. So they're literally, it's like they understand the law is you stay on your little spot there, but you don't come over here. And what could it mean? You're scaring the elk. You're scaring the deer. My children don't like you over there. You're pushing into my territory. Pay attention. I'm here, right? And that's what should really be a big punch in the face for people is when you just spend a little bit of time looking at those tree breaks and understanding how authentic and real they are. The Sasquatch are literally communicating with us. They know we're real. They're trying to communicate with us, and we don't accept it. Who's the intelligent one here, right? They know we're real. They're communicating. Here, let me make something. So for God's sake, I've seen people walk down trails and push past tree breaks. How ignorant are we?
Well, that's
okay.
That
tree's sure to get broken in a weird spot.
Well, we don't hide either. I'm in the woods playing Van Halen on a Bluetooth speaker, right? So, so you see the tree break. The tree break is telling you to stay on the trail. But what do you do with Todd Standing? Do you make a right-hand turn instead of a left and go into their territory?
That's what Todd Standing does. But they know me. Even I'll do things that normal people just have no idea. I'll act in a certain way. They'll recognize me as a tracker immediately. They'll recognize my love of the wilderness, my connectivity to my wilderness. I have a spiritual animal. Like Survivor Man goes out there. He's very special. He's I don't know if I should be saying this, but that man is a shaman. Like he's brilliant. He's connected. He's a wilderness. It's spiritual. And they recognize that authenticity in me. And they're even more than that. They recognize like that they're every day, tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of people are watching me on YouTube, thinking about me. It puts an energy out there and it gives me a certain attractivity. And now what'll happen is if you have a group of Sasquatch that are xenomorphs and they don't want people to come around, they push me away and they let it known to me. They'll tell me, we don't want you around here. We don't like what you're doing. But then there are other groups of Sasquatch, like the Indians. There were Cree and and Algonquin and Iroquois that traded and were good, and the other ones were scalping people, right? So the Sasquatch are very much like that. So one troop is agreeable, one troop is literally hateful and wants you to stay away. And I picked that up, and it takes me about 5 days, and I'll know if there's any potential for success, or if they're just angry and want me gone. And but that's a level of, you're talking to somebody who's literally trained with elite, like anybody. People, I'm still learning every year. This is my job. This is what I've been doing this. Like, I'm full time doing this for at least 5 years. And before that, it was an immense obsession that I did. I spent 50 days a year in the bush. Now it's over 100, right? So the level that I'm getting to, like even the success I garnered, I went and met a New York Sasquatch in the Adirondack Mountains, and that Sasquatch, mind was blown. I was backing up toward her. She's like, nobody backs up towards me. And I was smiling and I was happy, and my energy was like, because this is joy to me, right? Nobody backs up towards me. And it broke her down to, I like this guy. This crazy SOB just backed up towards me, smiling, and his energy, he was giggling and laughing. It was pure joy. And she realized, I'm here for her, and this is what I do. And I put it all, like, I understand if they want me gone, no one will ever hear Todd Standing again. They'll never find a piece. The moment they go, he's gone. The natives called it take your last breaths when you mess with the Sasquatch. So understanding that completely at their mercy, backing up towards them, to them, but in a respectful way and in a positive way, not showing fear. They test my metal, and it's solid because I've got so much experience and so much. I walk around with Sasquatch energy. Even you're feeling it right now.
Yeah.
You understand it. And when people go out in the bush with me, all these great men, including I guided the great Les Stroud Survivor man. I did it on 4 different episodes, more than that even, behind the scenes. But I guided that man, and he trusted me with his life. And they all give me a thumbs up because they know I know. They've seen bears charge at me. They watch how I manage the mountain lions, how I know about the wolves. You test my mettle. People that come out in the wilderness with me, test my mettle. You're going to see I really can track. I really can do this. And I really am immensely devoted and passionate about this discovery. It doesn't take it. And I'm not going anywhere. And I am the heavyweight champion of the Bigfoot discovery. For all you haters out there, what are you going to do? Prove Sasquatch is real? I win.
Yeah.
You can't beat me, right?
Two things.
I prove they're real. I win. You prove it. I win.
2 things that stress me out is watching you track in a video. Stresses me out. I could never do it. And Les Stroud stresses me out. That dude is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, why put yourself through that? I need good Chinese food. I need granite countertops. That's my existence, right? And Les puts himself out there, and so do you. So anyway, let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Todd Standing is with us. Now, we're going to continue the conversation, but I'm going to take it in another direction when we come back. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KJCR. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Fadernauts. When you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRAradio.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Todd Standing is with us. This is night 3 of our road trip week here on Fade to Black. And Todd has been on a 15-year road trip in search of Bigfoot. And now, Todd, continuing the conversation, but I'm going to swing it in another direction for just a minute, if I may. And that is, what does the U.S. government know about Bigfoot? Are they hiding the fact that Bigfoot exists? Are they sitting on knowledge? Because we have park rangers and we have federal land. Certainly, they have seen things. They may have even found a body or two.
Yeah.
What is it that the government knows?
Everything. When I say you can't verse Sasquatch, I mean like regular everyday people don't go versus Sasquatch. The American military, I mean, they know it. I've met with Apache helicopter operators that did border patrols that know how to recognize a Sasquatch. One saw my thermal image of a Sasquatch and called me and says, "That's a Sasquatch," and I'll tell you why, because I'm trained to recognize them. He was moving. He was completely naked. He had no watches or anything on him, no hat. He was moving faster than a man. We call that he'd say something like, call it like a K2, which means it's not a man, it's just a Sasquatch, and you bail up because they know it. And it's way beyond that. They've had a body. They've experimented on them. I mean, I have colonels and the highest ranking retired individuals telling me, everything. So teaching me stuff that I didn't know about Sasquatch 10 years ago. Now that I'm seeing their research and what saying was authenticated in their research, now I see those things. So of course they do. Of course they know. Of course. Come on, the Canadian government knows. Never mind the American government. So it's you really have to be, if the species exists, and I know they exist, then of course the American government, with the satellite dishes they have, the thermal images they can pull from satellites, like really the Sasquatch can't hide from them. And even if the American military wants them gone from a spot, they'll be gone. They'll annihilate them. So again, I was only talking about regular everyday Joes. Bring in the military with the thermal cameras and the weapons they have and the aerial superiority. I mean, they'll napalm a whole Sasquatch troop out, right? So they have no hope, no prayer. The American government the military would capture Sasquatch and annihilate them just like that. No problem. Their technology is absolutely outstanding. I was using a night vision that this colonel gave me that was, it's not even legal yet. It's Generation 4, and I think they're doing Generation 3 publicly. He gave it to me because it's a stinking, reeking piece of crap technology. They're on Generation 12. my generation 4 is the sickest thing. I used to show it to people like, oh, it's illegal for me to have it. And people would look at it and be like, this is the sickest technology. How did you get this? And I'm because it's a stinking, reeking piece of crap. The American government, the military has technology that will blow your mind 10 times over. So absolutely 100% yes. They know, they've experimented, they've had bodies. They'll collect an individual whenever they want. They'll annihilate a troop whenever they want. Yes. I have absolutely 0.0 doubt of it. Nothing. They do it. Yes.
Now, let's suppose that I'm with some friends, federal land. Let's just go with that. I'm in a national park. And Sasquatch has a heart attack in front of me, drops dead, right? Boom. And now I've got a body.
Right.
And I get on the phone and, call the Park Service, right? I'm yelling. Yeah. What would happen? Is there a Bigfoot Men in Black team, right, that shows up and swears me to silence and threatens my family and they take the body? There wouldn't be a way for me to go public with that, would there?
Well, first of all, the foundation for your principle is nearly preposterous. If a Sasquatch had a heart attack like that, it's a family. It'd be a grandpa. They would go take care of him. Like the family takes care of the family, right? So the odds of you having that happen is a needle in 100 haystacks. And to be honest, I have no knowledge in any way of any Men in Black, well, I guess I've heard little stories about evidence disappearing here and there in national museums and stuff like that. But who's to say that's American government stuff? And so I really have zero knowledge. I have 100% knowledge of not Men in Black showing up, but a UFO incident transpiring where they show up and they buy everything and take it all away. And I had a little piece of an alien ship landed on in a native reserve, and the grass turned into like a glass with dirt. And I had a piece of it was like a piece of crystal. It was amazing. And these cows were like lasered up, and the Fish and Wildlife came in with some, not Men in Black, but just people came in. They paid everybody off. They took all my pieces of evidence and booted me out. So that happened. And it's not even Men in Black. People just don't give a crap. And if you see a Sasquatch or you see a UFO in your story, most people won't believe you. You saw a Sasquatch, who are you going to call?
Right, and that's my
Who's
point.
Going to believe you?
Right.
So
now, and staying on this though, I brought up the X's. I've seen photographs of like giant bird nests, right? That look like a nice IKEA Bigfoot bed, right? The version of that. Is that evidence of nesting? Where do they live? Is it caves?
In the wintertime in Canada, they must have caves. But the amount of remote, uncharted area where I live is, there have been airplanes that have disappeared there from Alaska down through British Columbia, hundreds of them. They never found a piece or nothing. They've gone forever. And to know the amount of caves, like all the glacier water that's running in Canada, there's thousands and thousands of glacier creeks. They're melting out of the mountains that create caves. So there are cave beds that are new every millions of liters every second is coming out of these glaciers all over Canada, all through British Columbia and Alberta for sure that I know of. So the cave systems that they have access to are absolutely infinitely enormous. They can move whenever they want. But I don't know anything. I've never seen anything authentic in my research that would substantiate nests being any kind of reality. So I just have, if you think you have a nest, the way to authenticate it is it's the simple process. Get Jeff Meldrum's little Sasquatch identifier book. And if there's hair in it, then you might have a Sasquatch, right? Real, if you have a smell that's very gorilla-like, very primate-like, they don't smell like people at all. They smell. I've done work behind the scenes with gorillas at certain zoos, and it's very similar to gorilla. Even their behavior, in a lot of ways, is half gorilla with their troops and the way they have a dominant male. But again, a level of intelligence that's even beyond that of humans. So I would look for hair, take some samples, don't touch it, and send it to Jeff Meldrum. But I don't really, and the hair is like Jeff Meldrum will analyze it and tell you in a New York minute. Even looking at it yourself, if you can identify the difference between hair and fur. If it's fur, human beings don't have fur. Neither do gorillas, chimpanzees, or orangutans. We're all primates. We all have hair. It's very different from fur. Totally. There's very little similarity. So if you see a nest, you have primate smell, and you have hair that are even long, brown, right, and have an odor to them. Jeff Meldrum can identify them, and then you're onto a big discovery. And then that would authenticate nests. Until then, I've never heard of that transpiring, where those two pieces of evidence, and then Jeff Meldrum is the third little key. And Jeff Meldrum, man, you can get stuff to him. If you have trouble reaching him, contact me, because I would love to authenticate that, but I've never seen any evidence of it.
Now, what do you think? Have you come upon a nest, those giant bird-shaped nests? I don't have another way to explain it. You know what I'm talking about. I'm referring to the audience. Looks like a bird nest, but it's 8-10 feet in circumference. Have you come across those?
Never seen them ever. And that's why it's kind of a stretch for me, because after all that I have witnessed and had, like the upside down logs jammed in, the tree breaks, the structures, the trackways in line, the mid-tarsal joint, like there's so many things that are just, this is the science of Sasquatch, and they are legit and real. And when the discovery is made, we're going to see we were all the people that know this research they were 100% correct. But to my knowledge, at this point, the nests have not been authenticated to that point. And in my opinion, too, we're far from it, because when we find one, we need to find another to substantiate it and see repeatability. And in my research, nothing. And again, I've been to Alabama now. I've been to Washington State many times, all the way up through Alberta, British Columbia, Montana. I've done tons of research all through there, and never even had a researcher. And I've cooperated with incredible men and women that have been doing this for a lifetime. And none of those incredible, amazing, fantastic, authentic researchers have shown me a nest. So at this point, I have nothing to go on.
Now, for the Jimmy Church doofus question number 2 about this is, what about, Bigfoot's intelligent, obviously. What about an old abandoned barn in the middle of nowhere? That would seem pretty a natural habitat. Does Bigfoot ever do that?
Again, nothing ever authentic, and I can't see why they would ever do something like that, because they don't like civilization. They don't like being around people. I mean, everything they have successfully evaded us entirely. They very successfully evaded normal people. So if a behavior like that if it ever happened, would end their likelihood of remaining undiscovered. So I always lean towards just I'll theorize right off the top. They just don't do stuff like that. They've never done stuff like that, because this discovery is still not done, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
And it's not their behavior. They don't like barns. They don't like being around farms. They don't like being around civilization. It's as unlikely as for me to get naked and run into the bush and live under trees. I'll die.
Now, I watched
and use no technology.
I watched a video the other day, one of the most fascinating videos I've ever seen, and it was an ape flying a drone. Okay, right? It's got the controls. The drone is flying, and he's flying the drone with his partner, and it was one of the most fascinating. They got it, right? They understood what they were doing. Now, let's talk about Bigfoot for a second. If Bigfoot comes upon an old campsite of ours, right? It's people are gone, and they find something like a Bic lighter or some human implements that were left behind. Would they understand that? Like the ape can fly the drone. I've seen ape. Have you ever seen an ape or a chimp with an iPhone or an iPad and watch them flip through it and tap on things? They get it.
Sure.
Would Bigfoot start fires, go back to the cave and cook up some deer
I'll tell you
meat?
why. This is the first thing I tell my expeditioners is I explain to them how literally Sasquatch have seen human beings, starting with the Native Americans, become insane with technology. And it started with fire, and it grew teepees, bows and arrows. And the more you get involved in technology, the more it gets you. Now look at us. We're walking zombies looking at phones all day. Doesn't matter what age you are. My mom does it. She stares at the damn phone all day. She's more in love with the phone than her family. And I love my mom. She's a great mother.
And you're doing it right now.
But I'll tell you, they fear that technology.
Right.
I dropped an axe way up in my main research area where I know they go like crazy, where Survivor Man had interactions with them. I dropped an axe on the trail by accident. They walked around it like 5 yards until I removed the axe. They fear technology. They don't want to become insane like us. They don't want to have any need for technology. And I'll tell you, and I see it in them every day. They love being a Sasquatch. They love being wild. They love the wilderness. They love nature. Can you imagine how free they are? They literally get up and go. They lay down and sleep wherever they want, totally free. They don't brush their teeth, put their glasses on, wash their hair, put their clothes on, worry about their food, have their little... A Sasquatch stands there and watches me get ready every morning with my crew for 2 freaking hours. And it's like, man, I just rolled out of bed and I was ready to go. Who's free? They go wherever they want. They wake up and they literally go, I want bighorn sheep today. I know where they are. I'm going to go kill one and eat them. And I'm going to eat it raw. It's delicious. They love being who they are. They love their freedom. Why would they ever want to jeopardize that? And the Sasquatch know this story. It's a story like the Great Spirit once came to man and Sasquatch and said, here's fire. And man took fire, and now we're insane because we embrace technology. And you're amazing, and you still love the wilderness. And they still have survival of the fittest. They still have powers, and they're still evolving in great, incredible ways. We're not. I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, domestication syndrome is the most terrifying thing in the whole world. It dumbs you down. It makes you sheeple. It's horrible. I think that's the biggest problem with our society right now is domestication syndrome. You domesticate a cow and a pig, you can't put that thing back in the wild anymore. It has no survival skills. It becomes just sick and ill, and you just keep breeding it. They don't have any of those problems. And it's all because they don't touch technology. That's everything. It's alpha omega. They know it. They fear it. And I've never seen them do anything other than fear and stay away from technology. 100%. So they won't touch it because they don't want to be like us. They don't want to drive around in a vehicle that pumps gas and fumes into the air and rely upon that for moving around. They want to run, man. They want to feel the earth. They want to eat raw meat. And the more I study them and the more I learn about them, the more I see the only way to have interactions and success with Sasquatch is you got to come to their world. I have nothing to offer them. Nothing. I basically go in there and go, please just teach me how to be wild as much as I can, because I'll never be that. Survivor Man's the toughest survivalist SOB that ever walked. You throw him naked in the wilderness and tell him don't use technology, he's dead in a month. You do that with a Sasquatch, come back in 5 years, he's got his feet up and he's fat. Right? Well, who is the real tough survivor?
That's right. That's right. But why don't we stumble upon a Bigfoot village? Right? Are they roaming just as singular family units and that's it? Husband, wife, and a couple of kids? Right? Or do they do they get bigger than that?
Can be. Oh, bigger. I've always there was one group I studied by a native reserve. I believe the male died and the female had 3 children, and she never had a male come back. And I thought that was sad because it was loss of habitat equals loss of life, and they're losing their habitat. So, but the radium group that I study, I'm certain there's at least 9 individuals there, probably more along the lines of 15. It's really hard for me to keep account, especially when the females don't come around much. It's almost all my interactions are with males. So, but conservatively, there's that many individuals, and so it's family units for sure. And I mean probably grandpa, uncle, the big main male who defends and is probably likely the main breeder. And I may be wrong about that. Now I have people pushing my paradigm saying they're likely in monogamous couples that live in groups together in family groups. And that might be right. They're so amazing, these Sasquatch, that I just, the truth is I really don't know, but it's a theory. And never forget, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'll chuckle and say, and here's Todd Standing. He's our local Sasquatch expert. Really expert. Like I basically just have the most superficial knowledge and understanding of this species. It's I'll be the first one to tell you it. As advanced and as successful as I am and what I can do, it's really it's pathetic, the knowledge that I have. It's I'm trying to look through a peeking hole in the dark to try to figure out more about this amazing species. So there's so much more to learn, and it's such a big discovery, and it really keeps me humble. When I see tracks like you're talking about, 4 tracks in the ground, I look at it and go, the power that the leg that was necessary to do that. I literally heard tree falls 2 weeks ago, big giant 2,000-pound trees fall and hit the ground and make the same sound a Sasquatch makes when he made one of those tracks, my friend. Right. One. Boom. Like, you better be scared when you verse these guys. You are way braver. It's not even bravery. I just think it's absolute ignorance to take on these monsters, because they'll own you.
Now, let's say Bigfoot, you follow one home to a cave. They let you do that, right? Okay. What would you expect to find inside of that cave?
Well, let's just not go cave. Let's just say, because that's not inauthentic. A Sasquatch.
No, I'm asking you to hypothesize here.
That's me.
Right? So
what would you find there?
Yes.
You would find, first of all, there's going to be a lot of friction, and it's going to be, because they're going to test your metal, man. These guys are big, giant, powerful dudes, so they're going to test your metal. They're gonna push you. They're not going to take any crap from you. If you mess with their young ones, boy, you better be respectful and very, very humble. But you're going to see a devoted group of individuals that love and care about each other in the most wonderful family unit human beings could ever have. That's their family unit. They're devoted to one another. They're cautious, and you're gonna find things that just blow my mind. It's not going to surprise me, the level of intellectual amazement but you have to understand. A little earlier you said, here's another dumb question. There's no dumb questions coming from you. These are very, very good questions, and that question is something that can really happen, and I really believe may have already happened with people, especially with there's some of those, they call it the Snow White, where there are certain women that I've seen them, birds land on them, butterflies land on them. They just have a certain energy about them. It's so beautiful. And I believe a Sasquatch would bring or lead a woman like that back to them, and they would sit down, and you'd have to be, what it would be is like I tell people, if you've had a sighting and it's legit, congratulations, there's something special about you. That person would be just like Messiah level, zero, Zen, incredible, amazing. I want to meet that person. Someone that's just so paradigm free, and they're going to trust him. It's almost, it's almost as amazing. The person has to be as amazing as that incident that's transpiring. And again, I really believe that truly has likely happened.
What about
a few times?
Yeah. What
had
about
that experience and had such a Zen thing?
Yeah. And what about the opposite? Does Bigfoot kill humans?
Yes, of course. They're hunters. I'll tell you, when you hunt. Like, even I remember dealing with a native on a reserve who's an excellent hunter, amazing guy. And he told me something very powerful. He didn't want me to come back to the reserve. He told me, let me tell you something, my friend. I'm an expert killer. I kill and hunt deer, elk, bear. I kill them fast, quick. I'm an expert. And I love the bear, deer, and elk. I hate you. You come back here, you're going to disappear. And what it taught me is the Sasquatch are killers, man. They know how to kill quickly and effectively and efficiently, and they love the elk. And they're hunters, man. To be a hunter, you have to put your hands on something and take its life. Mm-hmm. You know how to kill. And most domesticated people have no clue what that means. They're clueless. How many things have you killed?
None.
Right? Just doesn't happen.
Me and an elk's going to win. I'll just say that.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with a hunter and a killer, right? They have that killer instinct. So, and there are going to be Sasquatch out there that are like serial killers like we have, like Ted Bundy's, and ones that go over the edge, right? So they're going to kill people. They have killed people. I've been aware of situations where people disappear. And that's why I go out there going, man, the day one of these guys wants me gone, I'm gone. It's over. Done. So my job is to really go into a family unit that's positive, because I want to live to be a ripe old man. I want to be a granddad. I love my life. I love my family. I have no suicidal tendencies whatsoever. So I'm very cautious. And so the minute I feel that overwhelming, don't be here, this guy's going to hurt you, I get out of there, I listen. And the day I come across a serial killer kind of Sasquatch that just wants to kill and hurt people, or maybe even a Sasquatch dad that had his whole family wiped out, boy, I'll tell you, I don't have to tell any father out there or parent out there.
He's
your family
pissed
gets
off.
wiped out by people. You're going to hate people.
Yeah.
You're going to spend your life ending people. I don't want to meet that Sasquatch.
Now,
right? So yes, absolutely.
We've got about 2 minutes before the break, and then we'll swing it back. Next year, 2022, my plans are I'm going to buy an RV, and I'm going to go squatching. I have zero experience. I have none, but this is something I want to do. What advice can you give me in 2 minutes?
Don't try to find them. Go out there and love nature. Love nature, explore nature, learn about nature. And when you're a good enough student and you're ready, the master will appear every time.
Does Sasquatch like music? And what I'm saying is this. Stay with me on this.
I don't know.
Stay with me on this. If I'm out there loving nature, right? I got my friends with me, and we're out doing our thing. We're behaving, right? But we're gonna have some music playing. We're gonna be having fun, and that's gonna be apparent. Would Sasquatch understand that and appreciate that?
Absolutely. They know what fun is. That's my ancient Chinese secret with them is fun, joy. Right before Jeff Meldrum saw Sasquatch, I told him a joke and he was laughing, and boom, they came out. They're very attracted to fun, joy, pleasure. The young males love that stuff, not rocket science. They want to be around you when you're in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where I've heard lots of authentic sightings. People having a good time, loving it, and boom, a Sasquatch showed himself. He just wanted to be a part of it. He just wanted to partake. And maybe he'd been seeing you for years. You know, maybe he's known you for years and years and years, and finally it was that day he showed himself. But absolutely, fun, joy, pleasure, loving wilderness, being respectful, that'll get you a sighting.
We're going to take a break right here. I think the other key is you play Van Halen and not Van Hagar. I'm just telling you right now. Bigfoot is not a Sammy Hagar fan. And but I mean that in such a serious way, in that if I'm out there being authentic and my friends are being authentic and we're not being offensive, I think that any creature of the wood would understand that. And that's amazing. I'm not going to tell the audience what I'm seeing right now, but that's pretty bleeping cool. I almost called you Meldrum, Todd, because Meldrum laughing, they pick up on that, right? Absolutely. Oh, you're muted now. You've muted yourself. That was
no, sorry about that. Go ahead.
She muted you. I watched her reach out and oh, that was awesome. Let's take our break right here, Todd. Stay right there. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Todd Standing is joining us. Night 3 of our road trip week. Dealing with Bigfoot tonight. It's all Bigfoot all the time. Right now, we got Small Feet appearing in the show. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to GetTheTea.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheTea.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRAradio.com.
When you're in the house for longer periods of time, you can see them flying or running across the floor. Ooh, yuck. They're unhealthy, gross, and disgusting. Bugs. I loathe bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. On contact, it kills hidden bugs, including ants, roaches, and fleas. Plus, Orange Guard is a residual repellent. All of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally recognized as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard, available at orangeguard.com, Whole Foods, and Ace Hardware.
Gold loves chaos, uncertainty, and disarray. History shows us what gold does when people aren't sure about the government, the stock market, their jobs, or their retirement savings. Our national debt is skyrocketing. Gold and other precious metals are a defense measure against inflation and a stock market that might take years to recover. So what can you do right now to protect yourself? Call United Gold Group. We offer gold and other precious metals delivered securely within 72 hours. Are you worried about the stock market? We can also help you set up a real gold or silver IRA or a 401k. Safe and secure. United Gold Group makes gold ownership affordable. Call now and get up to $2,500 in free gold or silver with a qualified IRA. Call 800-753-8534. That's 800-753-8534 or visit unitedgoldgroup.com.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Todd Standing is here. And you know what? I was going to let this go, but I'm not going to let this go. The audience needs to know what happened. I'm just going to just say this. Todd's very young daughter comes in and literally reaches up and mutes his microphone. Reaches up. I watched her do it. He didn't see it. And she goes, click, and Todd's talking. And I'm like, she just muted him, man. It was classic Todd. I was just like, what? And she knew what she was doing, man. Bip. Hit that button. That was slick. That was cool. Okay. This is okay.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was very touching, and that was very cool. Okay, so I was during the break. I went over and I grabbed a couple of peanut butter cups. Okay, and I munched one during the break, and it got me to thinking, what does Bigfoot eat? And then I thought about your that section of your movie with the apples. So I want to address that for a second. I'm watching the apple disappear. That was cool. And I was like, okay, this is good stuff. And I said to myself, the next scene, this is the first time I saw the movie, the next scene is going to be Todd with camera setup, right? Like 24-hour cameras to catch this. But that didn't happen. Right. Todd, why didn't that happen? I've got to ask you. Why?
Well, first of all, let's start at the very fundamental beginning. I have always said these are the greatest trackers that have ever lived. Hide a camera with a little piece of glass lens when these guys can see a bent blade of grass and know you walk there. It's even beyond that. They'll watch you put the darn cameras out. They're always watching me. I'm in Sasquatch. So and then remember too, probably the worst thing of it is I give the apples as a gift. I want to be your student. I give you respect for the land. So I walk out there with an open, beautiful gift to them that they really appreciate.
You're
if I walk out there and put
hold
apples
on.
out there, and here's a wonderful gift.
Todd, you're cutting out again.
Oh,
yeah, you're cutting
okay.
out. Go back
yeah,
to the old position. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, but if you go out there, can you hear me good now?
Yes.
Okay, and you go out there and you go to give this beautiful gift, but now I'm deceiving you by putting a camera out there. How can I? Now I'm sneaking. Remember I talked about the cows? You're being sneaky. You're being deceitful. So now it's bad energy. So, and then even beyond that, well, these are my theories. The facts are, if I put camera, take the apples, and they don't take apples for years sometimes if I put a camera out there. If I don't put a camera out there and I just give them apples, they come around, people have sightings, I get video footage. So at the end of the day, my theory and everything aside, trying to verse these incredible trackers is ridiculous and preposterous. They're way better trackers than me. You can never hide a camera from them. It was idiotic for me to ever even try that. And so, you know, I get the results I get. I give them gifts wholeheartedly with a good open heart. I even put it out there. I think, man, this is going to nurture this incredible, amazing teacher, this wonderful, spiritual, incredible species. And when I put apples out there with an open heart like that, and they take them, and then I get success, I have to roll with that. I don't, when it's not broken, don't fix it. And I'll tell you, in Nordegg, when I tried to take pictures with the cameras, they stopped coming around me for about a year and a half. In Radium, after they were taking apples from me, this was 7 years ago. I put cameras out. They still haven't taken apples from me. They'll take an apple off a tree and smash it on the ground. That's like they're still ticked off about it 7 years later. So it's really like you're playing with fire when you start applying to it's. And I'm versing them. Don't you understand? It's versing. Mm-hmm. Here's a gift, but there's a little thing attached to it, right? When you're playing those kind of games, you're being dishonest, you're being deceitful, and you're showing them what a human being you are, and that's why they stay away from people. Don't play games with them. Don't try to verse them. Don't have your little taglines. Do things with a wonderful open heart. Be gentle and good. Be so non-human, right? Be so open. Be so one. Actually, I think it's very human. Speaking of my daughter, like a child. A child can go out there and do this. A child would go out there and have success with Sasquatch, with that beautiful. It's as we get older and we become full of paradigms and have all these bad thoughts, and that's when they want to start to stay away from us. So it's I guess the best answer is really just be good and honest and childish. I guess I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like a child at heart. I get super excited when I go by a Toys R Us. And I think that's a big part. It might sound silly, but I think it's a big part of why I get tremendous success, because I get really excited about things. I'm a really happy guy. I really have a love and passion for this beautiful planet. And that's why I move forward with this discovery, because I know the discovery of Sasquatch will change tens of millions of people's lives. They'll be literally right now. My goal is with the expeditions, I'm training what I call cardinals. We're a group of cardinals. And when the Pope, which are the Sasquatch, is discovered, this is my way of explaining it. All my cardinals will help facilitate people that want to meet the Pope. The cardinals will be there trained to understand and to facilitate the people, the millions of people that will want to know about the Sasquatch and go out and discover them and see them. And my cardinals are trained to facilitate that change that man, we need it in this planet. Like, we have lost our nature, we've lost our organicness. It scares me. And I know literally tens of millions of people, when this discovery is made, will want to learn what the Sasquatch are doing, want to learn more about this beautiful, amazing species. And that's what me and my cardinals are all there doing, is we're prepared for it, we're ready for it. And that's another reason I'm very passionate about my expeditions right now. I take people out and show them a Sasquatch, and you go, why? Because now I have a guy in Texas and Georgia and Alabama and Washington State and Idaho and Colorado and all across Canada. All these men and women are ready to facilitate this change. They know Sasquatch is real. They've seen it. They've seen the evidence. They've been trained with everything I got. I hold nothing back. I train people. even with my documentary and the stuff I'm putting in there, that's all I got, guys. There's no secrets. I mean, it's hard work, determination, and I just want to share it all with people because I want this discovery to be made. And if it's made by somebody, myself, or trained by me, or somebody that if there's just any way I can watch the movie, watch the Survivor Man episodes, they're all about facilitating this discovery that will help make the world a better place, help heal it. Because Todd Standing can't do it. The Sasquatch sure can, though. They're amazing and brilliant. And Todd Standing just wants to facilitate that discovery process, and it'll. I mean, you feel it, right? I mean, are you scared right now?
No, I do. I do. And one of the things that I deal with, I've chosen not to deal with it, are critics. I don't deal with it. I don't read it. I don't respond. I don't reply. I don't give a crap. How frustrating is it for you to have to put up with the same thing and deal with the detractors and the debunkers and the critics?
I just laugh now. I have to laugh because I'll tell you, every day I have 30 people that are just incredible, intelligent, amazing people that just want to give me love and share in this discovery, and I don't get through 10 of them. The critics, the haters, the negatives, the swearers, I haven't dealt with them in years, and I don't, because it's just I'm too busy focusing on the love, focusing on the success, talking to people that are really getting this done. I have no time. I literally, why would I go and deal with that? Some other dumbass talking about how my dad dated a woman who owned a fabric store, so now Todd's a fraud. I mean, if you're going to believe that kind of crap,
right?
Like Jeff Meldrum didn't believe it. Survivor Man doesn't believe it. The stories. I mean, my evidence speaks for itself. And you know what ends it? This is the end of anybody's conversation. Don't take my word for it. Come out with me, and I will show you a Sasquatch. That's what I do. I show it. I show people. I did it last week. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next year. I show people Sasquatch. I did it on Survivor Man. I did it with Jeff Meldrum and John Benedigo. It's in my darn movie. And I'm better than I was back in 2014 and 2015 when I made all that footage. I'm way better now. I'm way more advanced. So I show people Sasquatch. What else am I supposed to do?
And there's another part to this that I find fascinating. Have you started to develop relationships with Bigfoot? Right? I mean, where like you're almost naming them. You know what I mean?
There's individuals. I'll tell you, there was a live show I did where I got teary-eyed. I'm not going to do it right now because Jake, who is video 5, is my favorite Sasquatch of all time. I got the most incredible footage of him. He's the one where like there's a mosquito that flies off of him. I got this incredible footage. I had so many interactions with him. It's amazing. He's gone. Like he left my troop. When I really realized that he was gone, because what happened is he grew up and he took off and found his own group somewhere, right? He was a big, strong, incredible, awesome Sasquatch. I met him when he was probably about 15, and then he left the troop when he was about 20, and I was having the best interaction. He was like my friend. I would leave my research area at the end of the year when the snows, and I would get teary-eyed, go, man, I'm going to miss you guys, especially you, Jake. And then when I realized he was gone forever, like I'll probably never see him again. Actually, it broke on a live show I was doing where someone was like, you ever going to see Jake again? I go, I don't think so. I almost got teary-eyed. I was, man, I'm going to, like Diane Fossey and her digit,
right?
Like Jane Goodall and the chimpanzees she's built relations. Absolutely. Now I have a new guy that's coming around, and it's Jacob. It's Jake's little brother. And man, I just, like, we have so much fun, and he's so cool, and he's growing up with me, and he might be the one. In fact, in my heart, I feel like he's the one that's going to is going to facilitate the discovery of Sasquatch. He's been around. He was probably 6 years old when Jake was 15. So he's been around for so long. He's the one that took the apple from Survivor Man up on the mountain. He's the little bugger that came along and snagged it. You see the top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been around for a long time. He's very, very brave. He's excited when I come around. Even there's stuff that he does. Like I hear him, hey, up in the mountain. He's like, Todd's here, woohoo! And I'm entertaining. I'm fun, and we get along really well. We have great chemistry, and there is a piece of footage that I can get that'll change the world. If Jacob comes out and really shows himself, and I can get footage that breaks the paradigm and just moves. The evidence is already out there. I don't need to get any more evidence. Jeff Meldrum has the feet acknowledged and accepted by science as from a living indigenous species that lives in North America. The feet are accepted, but the rest of the body's not. That's how preposterous this discovery is moving forward,
So what does so back to I don't want to let this go. If I was going to gift, some food to Bigfoot, whether I left it behind or overnight or whatever, what would I leave? Apple seems too easy. Is there something else as well that they?
No, gosh, I say don't do it.
Really?
It's so dangerous. It's so. Oh my God! If you feed a bear, he's going to kill you. If you feed a wolf. Wolves are not dangerous. They don't hurt people unless you feed them. They'll kill you. So it's so damn dangerous. I go into Sasquatch habitat. I know there's Sasquatch there. And you got to understand, my game is so rigged. All the bears, I've been going to this research area for, 15 years. The bears are terrified of me. The bears smell me and run. Like, that's that crazy guy that'll shoot us. So you go into my area, the bears smell me. And I'm talking like cubs have been raised to fear me by the mothers. So everything is so rigged safe with bears, and the mountain lions are terrified of me. I'll chase those buggers and shoot at them, and they know I'm a nutcase if they mess with me ever. So since I have that, I can do what I do. If you don't have the knowledge of mountain lions, bears, wolves, all the species around you, you can't just leave apples out. You're gonna get killed, like dead. Like a bear, if he comes along, eat your apples, he's gonna pick up your scent, follow you back. You're the food source. You don't give him an apple, you're the apple. It's so damn dangerous. I will never even recommend doing that. Just infinitely dangerous. If you know there's Sasquatch coming around you, there's no bears in the area, just don't do it. It's so goddamn dangerous. I'm sorry. I apologize for the profanity,
right?
But I just don't want anybody to get hurt doing this. And I have such a level of expertise, guys. Like, I impress survivormen. I impress PhD wilderness biologists. I really, really know my area. It's just so darn dangerous. Just work with what you have. If a Sasquatch is showing himself to you, just do that. You don't have to give him a gift. And it's not right for you to give him a gift. Are you really infiltrating the area like I am? Because that's what the gift is. I want to be your full-time student. I want to be accepted in the area. I want you. Are you at that level? And the answer is absolutely not. You're trying to build a nuclear weapon. You don't know nothing about physics. That's what I would say putting an apple out is. So don't gift them. Don't do that at all. Just interact with them, work with them. Be observant, and there's a whole other way to make this discovery. Don't do it my way. It takes years and years and years and years. Don't do it. That's my advice.
Now, the question that I have that has been asked over and over again, but I'm going to do it tonight because this is your first time on the show.
Yeah, it's okay.
How come Bigfoot hasn't been hit by a car? How come there isn't a body? How come there isn't and look, I understand finding the carcass of a chimpanzee is nearly impossible, and you're not walking through the woods tripping over rib cages everywhere. I understand that, but we still find them. They do happen. How come Bigfoot hasn't been hit by a car, or why not at least one body somewhere?
Mm-hmm. Well, the car thing, they're just so darn intelligent. Even I've known in Banff about 4 years ago, a Sasquatch crossed the highway in the winter. The vehicle just stopped for him. He literally crossed the highway. He kind of walks out. The vehicle's like, they all stop. It's winter. Tracks on the ground. 30 people saw it. He jumped over the fence, ran up the mountain. I never heard about this incident. People were phoning Fish and Wildlife came out, said something preposterous. A big guy in a fur coat with big sandals ran up the side of a mountain. They just said something idiotic. And that's what I've known happens when a Sasquatch crosses a highway. People just stop, and then nobody believes they saw a Sasquatch. I think they're crazy after. But a body, you're talking about. So even what we know, Gigantopithecus is the species I believe they have descended from. I'm very convinced of it, and I have evidence to substantiate that. Gigantopithecus was burying and putting their dead in caves 20,000 years before Neanderthals did it. So they do take care of their dead. They do have a spot to bury their dead. And I've seen evidence to substantiate there are burial sites of Sasquatch just through legends and stories that I've heard. So they're taking care of their dead. They're in a certain spot. The Sasquatch defend that area. And the odds of you finding a Sasquatch body that's died of natural causes, it's not buried, you're literally looking for a needle in 10 haystacks. And How many forensic anthropologists are out there that would identify the difference between, I'll tell you, most people, I can't tell the difference between a leg bone of an elk and a leg bone of a person. You really got to know your stuff. Like, it really takes a level of expertise that forensic anthropologists are not hiking through the backcountry, you know, and a skull would end it. I agree. But honestly, I've seen 2 bear skulls in my skull ever. And, it's just, actually, I've never even found a moose skull, so, and you want to talk about the amount of days I've spent in the backcountry? Over 1,000. I tried to count. I was like, yeah, I'm well over 1,000 days now. So, and I mean backcountry, ladies and gentlemen. I am in the wilderness backcountry. Survivor Man doesn't doubt it. Nobody that goes out with me doesn't doubt it. I know every mountain, every nook and cranny. I cover that area. I do research. And if you understand what that means, go out to an area, do it again. Go out there, do it again. I know my territory, I know my terrain, and it's just it was something that was part of my goal maybe 8 years ago, because that's what the Canadian government told me. If I came back with a significant piece of a recently deceased body, they would give me species protection. Go get it, man. I was like, I can do it, or I can get help, and it just wasn't even close. It's just unlikely to happen, and we don't need to do it that way. The Skywalker gibbon has been discovered and accepted as a species. There's no body from it. They just got DNA from the individuals. They filmed them a little bit, and now they accept and acknowledge the species exists. There's too few of them to take a specimen. So science discovered a species without a body. It's been done. This has been done 7 years ago now. I should be able to come back with DNA evidence from multiple individuals of the same species and footage of that species and say, here we go. And how many, I tell you, if I went, and I am going back to court, my courts aren't done. Not by a long shot. I went into court with a knife and I found out it was a gunfight. Next time I come, I'm going to be loaded for bear. Now I know what it takes. I only screw up. I went in, I made my mistakes. Now I know what they want. I know how to get it done. The evidence is so beyond a reasonable doubt. I tell you, I told Fish and Wildlife from BC when I was suing them, I said, you want me to start showing you a witness list of judges, PhDs, doctors, the most impeccable men and women in this province, in this country, will come and testify beyond a reasonable doubt that they saw a Sasquatch, and the witness list will be thousands of people, thousands of them. Don't you dare tell me I don't have evidence. Never mind the DNA, the track evidence, Jeff Meldrum, Jimmy Chilcott, all these incredible people have undeniable, undisputable evidence, and my witness list will blow your mind. Police officers that have won awards, firefighters, it just goes on and on. Police officers have been on duty and shot a gun in the air to get rid of a Sasquatch. That, like the Fish and Wildlife officers that, that again, award people that are heroes, come and testify. I am this man. I've done this great stuff for my country, and I've seen them on multiple occasions. They exist. That should be enough evidence right there. This is a man who's putting his whole reputation. John Benenagel, Jeff Meldrum, like, what the heck? The evidence is so overwhelming.
Yeah, and
if I ever got into trial, I win. Have a good day.
Well, so, I want to talk about DNA for a second. I've had so many guests on the show, researchers, that's when I bring up DNA and the lack of that evidence, the response is, no, there's tons of DNA evidence. We've got tons of, well, where is that evidence, and what is this DNA showing us, and why isn't it peer-reviewed and published in journals?
It is. All that stuff has been done. Nobody takes it seriously. So it was Adrian Erickson paid for it all to be done. I know some of the researchers that got the DNA, and it was peer-reviewed, multiple tested by the most, forget Melba Ketchum. There were other DNA laboratories that substantiated this. And even again, what I'm finding, what just makes me so happy, is when you're telling the truth and weird stuff shows up, just keep telling the truth. And the truth will set you free. What's happened is we found that on the female mitochondrial side of the Sasquatch, there's, I don't remember the exact number, but let's say 9 times female human beings have bred with Sasquatch and been bred back into the population. I'm like, why is it only female? Let me ask you this. If a boy is born and he's got half human DNA, he's weak, is he going to be able to compete with the other Sasquatch? Hell no. But if a girl is born and she's pretty and she has human DNA, and we're dealing with a male-dominated society where some males will never breed with any female, you think she's going to find a mate? The answer is absolutely yes. So the DNA is out there. I have the DNA results from not only the Adrian Erickson stuff right here in my dresser drawer. I can send it to you. It's that thick, and I've read through it with a geneticist. But my own DNA evidence came back, and I'll tell you. So my DNA came back as it was just impossible. What was so cool about my DNA discovery, though, that nobody else did was, so people were thinking, so on a scale, imagine it goes gorilla, chimpanzee, human being, right? And now you have that scale in your mind. Everybody said that Sasquatch was between gorilla and chimpanzee. So now I can fake the DNA if I mix gorilla and chimpanzee, but it's not. It goes gorilla, chimpanzee, human being, Sasquatch. They are further away from the primates than we are. They're a more advanced hominid. And when I found this out, my mind was blown because I'm going, of course they're more advanced. They're bigger, stronger, faster, even, I hate to say it, smarter. They're a more advanced hominid. They're further away. They're more adapted to survive in cold weather and harsh conditions in North America than a gorilla is. So they're further down the chain. So when you come back and say, Todd, just mixing DNA with what? It's off the scale. I can't mix human and chimpanzee because it's on the other side of human. They're a more advanced hominid primate species, and that's what geneticists were hanging up the phone on me going, it can't possibly exist, click, because it was so mind-blowing to think that they're a more advanced hominid than us. But hey, what have I been saying the whole time? They're smarter, bigger, faster, stronger, more adapted, better survivalists than Survivor Man. It just again, the truth sets you free. They are more advanced hominid, and that DNA and that proof has just been now my little pile of DNA that's only a 1/4 inch thick, and Adrian Erickson's at 3 inches thick. Even mine is like it's proving, they're an advanced hominid biped that is such an incredible species, and even more a reason we need to make this discovery. Because it's not a billy ape. It's not a new species of chimpanzee. This is our closest living relative, and they are in every way superior to us in wilderness survival ability. And in nature is the survival of this planet. That's how we're going to make it through this. To get back to nature, they can get us back to nature, and that's why my colleagues and I fight for this discovery, because we love this beautiful planet, and nobody, nowhere can do more to heal this planet than the Sasquatch and the discovery of the species. We need to get back to nature. And if you don't see that, and if you don't feel that, you have my sympathy. And so this really needs to be done. I wake up every morning and I think of new ways to help heal this beautiful planet. And the answer is always Sasquatch. They can do it. They can help us. And that's when I go out there and I that's my intent with them, is you have to help. The fires are burning. The rivers are getting polluted. My people are so much. The Republicans hate Democrats. Black lives matter. Children's lives matter. It's just we're all finding ways to separate ourselves and not cooperate. And they're the only thing I can do to help heal and save this beautiful planet that I love and adore with all my heart. I want my children, my beautiful daughter and my son, to have a wonderful planet, and we're not going to leave it to them. That's not responsible. So that's why we do this, and that's why we're so passionate about it. Believe me.
Thank you so much, Todd. What a great conversation tonight. I expected this, but before we depart, how often do you do your videos and post things on YouTube, and how do you get that done?
I do live streams when I'm not out in the wilderness. I do live streams on Wednesdays.
Okay.
And then I just do the best I can with videos. I'm on Wild TV, so I had a TV show series, and Warner Brothers wants me to do stuff. Netflix wants a new documentary. So, and I'm just me. Like, if you watch my movie, it's written, directed, produced, edited, sound, audio, all done by me. So, and I have enough footage to do a whole new movie, and I'm going to. But YouTube, here's a big secret. I love Instagram. I love photographs. I'm not a photographer. I'm a videographer. So I go on Instagram a lot. Facebook is cool with me. I get on there a bit. But if you really want to get a hold of me, you'll find a way. There's a way to reach me on discoveringbigfoot.org. I have this wonderful group of people that read all my emails and check through it. And if you are authentic and you have some amazing stuff going on, we would love to help. We're just about facilitating the discovery of Bigfoot for the betterment of this beautiful planet. So if you're into that and that's something that you care about, then by all means, get involved, help out. I'm around on social media. I'll be in the news again. I'll be back on CNN and BBC in the next 6 months. I have new things to show. It's going to, new footage. It's going to blow the world's mind. It's never going to stop. I am not going anywhere. And I will get better. I will improve. And if you think I'm done, I ain't. You ain't seen nothing yet. I fight for this discovery. And the power that I have with cooperation and the men and women that I work with, we are coming for this discovery, and it's going to happen. Even next 4 years, there's my prediction. Discovery of Bigfoot, done. It's here. It's manifesting.
I dig the passion, Todd. I dig the passion. Thank you so much. What a great conversation tonight, and I look forward to the next time when we can hang out and continue things. Much luck to all of your success, Todd. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a great conversation. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Going to take a quick break right here. I want to thank Todd Standing. His links to all of his stuff, YouTube, and his website, discoveringbigfoot.org, is up in social media, and we have it over at jimmychurchradio.com. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll swing right back. Stay with us.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter,
but listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at jimmychurchradio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B blend for 15% off of your order today.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30 days free on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your Jimmy Church. I want to thank Todd Standing for coming in tonight. If you haven't seen the movie Discovering Bigfoot, his documentary, you need to check it out. I've seen it many, many times, and it's pretty fascinating. And there's another part to Todd for me that stands out, and he's out there tracking. I couldn't do it. It's I equate it to so many different things, and he brought up Les Stroud a couple of times. I can't watch. I've an immense amount of respect for Les and things, but Les does the things that I fear, right? And I don't want to be stuck on an island in the middle of winter with nothing. That's it. It's terrifying. It's difficult for me to watch, and that's just me. But discovering Bigfoot too as well. It's great, but it's scary to me. I mean, that's woof. It's just intense. It's intense. I remember. I get affected by videos like that in documentaries that are challenging. And, by the way, I've opened up the phone line, 747-228-2051, 747-228-2051. I remember this was a number of years ago. I may have mentioned this on the show before. I don't know. But I was watching a documentary, and I started watching it. I found it on like Netflix or something. It was buried deep, and then I ended up finding it or watching it. Maybe I continued on my laptop or something late into the night. Anyway, it was a video of the discovery of a cave system. And I am watching this team go through a cave for the first time. Not a cave. You're not walking upright. Tight fit, getting stuck around corners, flashlights going on and off, and I got so freaked out, and I kept watching. And I mean, this claustrophobic thing, and I nearly lost it, and this thing, hyperventilating. I'm freaking out, my nerves, and that continued on to a bad series of dreams for me over the next few nights. Couldn't deal with it. I remember I had an experience. I was probably 21, 22, and I'm with some friends, and we're out hiking in the mountains above Pasadena, Chantry Flats or something. And there was this cave, and it was about, I'm going to say 30 feet, maybe 40, 30 feet, that you had to crawl through to get up to this upper level. There was a series of ledges to cliff dive into this pool. It was amazing. And so the lower shelves, which was about 20 feet in the air, 30 feet in the air, pretty cool, and then there was this cave behind this ledge, and you could look up it and you could see the exit, right? You could see the sunlight coming through, but and my friends are climbing through that to get up to this top shelf, and that was probably 80 feet jumping into this pool. All right. And I'm looking into that cave. I'm like, man, and they're all doing it. They're all crawling through. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And I get talked into it, and I crawl through the cave, And I get about halfway through, and I start to freak out. And I don't even think I could back up. I think there was people, I had to keep going forward. And I got to the top. I wasn't going to go back. I had no choice. I wasn't going through the cave to get down. I'd rather jump off of this ledge at 80 feet than go back through that cave. I'm being serious. And that's what Les Stroud does to me with Survivor Man. I can't watch it. It's something that's nerve-wracking to me. And I totally respect it. And the same thing with Todd and that video. You need to watch it, Discovering Bigfoot. It's pretty cool. Okay. All right. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. I've got enough time for some calls. Okay. I think I've squeezed that right and made that correct. Let's see who's up first. Hi, you're live on Faded Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Deb from Modesto.
Oh, surprise, surprise. There you go. Up first. Okay. All right.
Well, you know, the Modesto Deb is actually Deb's evil clone, not Deb from Sacramento. So that's who you've got on the line tonight, just so you know.
Okay. All right.
You obviously don't see my tweets. But anyway, I digress.
Okay, so that's is that what this phone call is about? I don't see anybody's tweets. You know this, right?
You don't see tweets in the sandbox?
No, I don't read them.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Okay. Well, as a clone, I guess I wouldn't know that.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to stay with you, Deb. I'm trying to stay with you right now. After that conversation with Todd that I was so immersed in, and then you're expecting my brain to function right now? And
no, not really.
Okay.
Not really. It's all good. So, you know, the BLM is very heavily involved in the recovery of Bigfoot. I know this now for a fact. Based on what my cousins told me, I keep begging him to call in and talk to you one night. He's still not quite there, but I'm going to keep working on him. You know, he's not retired yet. This is the fire captain I told you about. He's not retired yet. So, but I'm hoping one of these days he'll actually crumble and, you know, give us a little bit more information about that whole situation. But I totally believe 100% that they're real. If I actually encountered one or heard noises and stuff, I'd be intrigued, but I don't know that I'd run up to greet one. I'd want to attract them and bring them in, but then once it actually happened, I think I'd be scared pottyless, to keep it clean. So I don't know in that moment what I would do, but I'm intrigued by it and I want to go look for them. So it's a conundrum for me.
Yeah. Well, Todd brings up a couple of pretty good points when we discuss this part of it, which is he's over there researching. He's going into the same areas. They know who he is, and that's how that happens. If I went out, you know, in an RV, set up a campsite with the intention of squatching, and they don't know who I am, why would they come around? Right? You know, that's. I mean, how would we attract them? I don't know.
Music and food.
Well, you know,
they love what we love.
Yeah.
Love what we love.
Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing there. I mean, it's all about intention, you know, and I think it's the same thing when, you know, you're trying to go out and do some sky watching, you know, and see some ET stuff. I think it's always about intention, and those that have a negative vibe about them are going to have a negative experience. So that could be. I do want to get an RV. I want to get an RV for a bunch of different reasons, and one of them would be to go squatching, but also to go do sky watching and get out there into nature and have some fun. So I'm going to do that next year. How that ends up in discovery, I don't know. But it's not going to hurt to try. And in the very least, we're going to have fun. right? We're going to cook out.
Absolutely.
We're going to have s'mores. We're going to do all of that, maybe a little drink and some music and some great conversation. So that in of itself is a vacation. That's a fun time. So I'm going to do it, and I wanted to go do some squatching. I want to see if something like that is possible. I think it'd be really cool.
Absolutely. Well, if you don't take the adventure, then you miss out. So that's what it's all about.
There you go, Deb. Thank you for the phone call, and we'll see you tomorrow night on Fader Night. Thank you so much, Deb. Have a great night.
Night. Good night, Fader Night.
Right.
Bye. Fade
Bye.
to black.
It's time to fade to black. Thank you so much, Deb. Todd makes me think. That's the whole thing about this. Todd makes me think. And I can't argue with his knowledge and the amount of stuff that he's gone out there and done, that I have to listen to him. I've got to take his advice. But I think that's a really, 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 really good point, that Sasquatch is smart and they do everything that they can to avoid us. I understand that. Makes a lot of sense. Most nature does, right? Most nature does. So going out there just to do squatch in the middle of, you know what? You're going to have to go back to the same spot, over and over again, showing positive vibes. I think that's really, really good advice. Go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. I'm a second-time caller. My
what's your name?
Call didn't go. Nelson. Yeah.
What's on your mind?
CK the last time. It didn't go over so well. So I hope it goes over better this time. Anyway.
Okay. What's going on?
I'm calling to ask you if you received my email regarding my paranormal experience, because that's the reason I was phoning in last time to begin with.
Okay. When did I get the email?
I sent it today at 10:05.
Oh, you sent it today at 10:05.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. 2. I'm scrolling. You have no idea how many emails have come in today. Okay. At 10:05?
Yeah, it says 10:05 p.m.
At 10:05 p.m.
PM, Eastern time. Sorry.
Okay, so that'd be 8 a.m. Okay, I don't see it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 unanswered and unopened emails going back to the beginning of the show. And I don't see it here.
That's a lot. I apologize.
Well, I'm just saying I don't see it. So what's it about?
Okay, I can summarize what I wrote to you, I guess. Yeah. I was taken out of my bed by something. I didn't see what it was, but I was removed from my bed. First, I'm a back sleeper, first of all. So I was rolled over onto my belly. I felt something under my stomach pulling me to the foot of my bed. Like the amusement park rides where the bar comes down and presses on your stomach. Same sensation. So anyway, pulls me to the foot of my bed. Then my left arm lifts up and gets pulled towards the left. And then my left foot lands on the floor. Same thing happens with my right arm. Then right foot lands on the floor. And then I'm pinned against the A-to-Z piece of furniture there.
Okay. You need to speak up, Nelson. I need a little more energy out of you. You sound like you're about to pass out. Okay, so what happens?
I holler, I yell because my mom's in the other room, in the Florida room, and she came almost running over. Half asleep, of course. She didn't know what was going on. She tried to pull me down because my arms were stretched out and I was pinned against the edge, and she could not pull me down, no matter how hard she pulled. So at this point, I wasn't under the influence, meaning I when they pulled me to the foot of my bed, I just let them do it for some reason.
Well, you say them, so there was more than one?
Oh, I said them. I didn't see anybody. I'm sorry. I didn't see a thing.
Okay.
Whatever the entity, whatever it was that pulled me, I didn't see anything, but I felt the pressure under my belly.
What do you think it was?
I would love to know. I would love to know, because before that, somebody asked me in the chat if any other experiences happened before that, and the answer is yes. They were visual. Something came into my bedroom window, floating in, and at that time I had a waterbed, and it came in my bedroom window. It was green, and it was torso. It had a figure, but the features weren't really there. But you could tell it had a head, shoulders, torso, and so forth. And it went right into my waterbed. And I was sleeping on a different bed at the time due to back problems. I could not sleep on that waterbed any longer. So...
Has it ended? Does this continue?
It happened again. Oh, yeah. We moved out of that house in 2003, so...
So you've been in the clear for 17 years, 18 years?
Well, yeah, nothing like that has happened here where we live now. But I certainly... See, my sister had the sixth sense. She could see things since she was a kid. I don't know if you believe in that or not, but she was definitely spooked quite a few times, and we never saw anything.
So are you thinking that your previous home was just simply haunted? That could be it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The one in New Jersey, that's the one I grew up in. Most definitely was haunted. Yeah.
And that was the house that you moved from in 2003.
Oh, no, it was the house in Pompano Beach, Florida, that we were renting.
Oh, okay.
So we moved from there to Sunrise, Florida. Yeah. And, but that house in New Jersey was definitely haunted. And I'm assuming so was the house that we left in Pompano in 2003.
Yeah, very interesting. That's that's the only thing that could explain it. It doesn't feel, I don't think it was human. Like it was a serial killer. It doesn't feel like E.T.
No.
And it didn't follow you to Sunrise. So it sounds like that was a haunted house. You got lucky and moved away, and now it doesn't happen anymore. But you can chalk it up to a pretty cool experience. Somebody said something to me the other day. And it was pretty interesting. I've experienced this, Jimmy. I've experienced this and this and this. The one thing I haven't done is I haven't been to jail. And so I don't have any jail stories. And I just kind of laughed about that and think about your situation. You've experienced something that most people don't, right? So you are able to share that experience. And I think that is cool. And I'm happy that it didn't follow you, Nelson. So... That's the other thing, and life is good today, man. So there you go.
But the thing is, now I have the sixth sense.
Well, I thought you said you're not seeing anything anymore.
Well, not like I did in the house in Pompano, but I'm seeing, they say we have a veil. We all have a veil, and some people's veils are thinner than others. And I think mine is getting thinner for some reason, and I can see things. And it's like you had a guest on your show that he said They made the movie Communion about him, by the way, right? Communion.
Okay.
And he said he's in between worlds. He has 1 foot here and 1 foot in the spirit world.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I feel, because I'm able to see into this other, whatever it is, dimension, spirit world. I'm not sure, but maybe it's where we go when we pass on. I don't know, but
write a book, man. Write this stuff down. Save it and write that book. Write that book.
People keep telling me that. But,
yeah. All right. Hey, Nelson, enjoy the rest of your night, man, and we'll see you tomorrow night, Jimmy, right here.
Can I apologize real quick for the last time I called? I was a first-time caller.
Okay.
And I did not mean to use the word that I used.
Okay.
I could have chosen a different word. And I got a lot of grief in the chat from comments.
Apologies accepted. All right, man. Enjoy your night, and I'll see you tomorrow night right here for Fader Night.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nelson. Yeah, right on. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night is Fader Night. I've got enough time. Man. Should I take one more call? One more call. Okay. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You've got 90 seconds. Who's calling?
My name's Zach.
Hey, Zach. How are you? What's on your mind?
Well, this is totally separate from the topic of your show. Is that okay? Or do I need to be on topic?
Well, you've got 60 seconds now, Zach. So jump into it, whatever it is.
Okay. So I've been researching, I don't know if you've read Tom DeLonge's books, but I've been researching the second book, and I'm really intrigued by the idea of one of the entities or the others being elven creatures or like fairies or something like that. It sounds so crazy to me. And at first I was like, come on, man. But then I started thinking about it, and then I listened, I had an audiobook, and I listened to it twice. And I thought that after the second time I listened to it, he had a lot of points that, like, he was putting a lot of stuff together. And I kind of wondered, I don't know. I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, I talk about that, Zach, all the time. And we cannot.
I'm a new listener.
Well, that's okay. But this is my point. I'm totally into the subject, is what I'm saying. And there is no question that every culture on this planet, on every continent, has talked about this for thousands of years. And I don't think it's their imagination. And that's it. And if you go back and you can, it's everywhere. Now, and I've said this live on the air, Zach, and I've got to go in 15 seconds, but I've said this live on the air.
Oh, man.
I'm okay with talking about fairies. I'm a grown-ass man, right? And I'm okay with that. Sure. All right, Zach? So listen, I've got to run. Great phone call. Don't change, okay?
I appreciate it. I'm going to be listening more.
Yeah, right on, Zach. Have a great night. That's a great phone call. And I've said it, man. I've said it. I remember I was like, man, am I really going to start talking about fairies? Right? I'm out doing something like shopping for Harleys. Right? I'm going to get my leathers. And I'm going to talk about fairies. That's right. I'm okay with that. This is Fade to Black. I want to thank Todd Standing for an outstanding, amazing conversation tonight here on Fade to Black. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2021 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, right here, Fader Night, open lines all night long. But until then, I want you to be safe. It's time to fade to black.